Hello friends and welcome to episode 295 of the No Clip 2cast. How you doing, folks? How are things going? We have a bumper show for you, loads of indie games. God almighty, you wait for a bus and then two turn up, or in this case about a half dozen. We're going to talk about VHOLUME, the Lantern of the Laughless Saint, Sovereign Tower, Anno 1404, a little bit of throwback there, MLB The Show 2026, Stars Reach, and a bunch more. And joining me, as ever, is the crew of the Two Crew. What up, Jeremy? Two Crew. Get that. We should all get it tattooed. Where would you get it tattooed?
I would get it tattooed in a place where I could display it most proudly, like my face or hands. Also, a viewing audience, this light's a little too harsh. It's not there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, Jeremy's definitely not mentioned that before we went live as well. It's going to be on his mind for the entire.
We need a gel. Where's the fucking PA in here?
A significant amount of people who listen to this podcast do so on YouTube, so they will care.
That's why I
care.
They're
enjoying our new graphics here. Shout out to Esteban, by the way, for these sick graphics. We're loving it over here. No Caps, where would you get the tattoo? For the two?
Well, I was gonna say forehead, which is very also prominent. So if you see someone out in the wild that has that on their forehead, it's probably me.
It's probably you, but
or
it could
Jeremy.
be anyone.
It could be Jeremy.
Because we're so because we're just so popular. Frank Howley is on Keeley watch at the moment. Gamescom's opening night is being streamed in the next 20-30 minutes or something like that, and Howley's on the beat. Frank, could you give us a report, please, from the ground there? What are you seeing in Gamescom in Germany?
Some game called Notice Fall just got announced. I don't know.
Has it started?
Yeah.
Or is this the pre-show?
No, it's live. It's live.
It's live.
Cologne.
Have you seen Keeley? Is he wearing lederhosen?
He's on stage. He's got his suit. He's got shoes with like white grips on the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, like looks sharp.
Nice. Important updates coming from Frank throughout the pod. Which, hey, if you got this on patreon.com/noclip2, you're listening. You're listening on a Wednesday, so it's still pretty fresh. If you're listening, if you're on the public feed, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. But it's going to be a little bit staler. The freshness of the bread, it's gotten a bit harder. So maybe stick this podcast in the oven, or a toaster if you can cram it in there, keep it a little bit fresher. As I've said before, last week, at least once before, this podcast now goes out early on Wednesdays for all of our patrons over patreon.com/noclip2 as a thank you for supporting our work to cover indie and underground games. And a massive shout out to our Battle Pass holders who will be making the transition next week. So we will be saying farewell to almost maybe everyone. I think only one person was like, do you mind keeping me on the No Clip 2 cast? So I still have to figure exactly that out. But for the moment, we're shifting them over to No Clip, which makes sense because this is the Battle Pass is part of the No Clip Patreon. So we're just trying to divide and conquer here, folks. But a massive shout out to Large Double, Charles Atkinson, Brian Baru, Yush, Dwayne the Rock Lobster, Anthony Thomas, Nico Passateri, It's a me, Ferrario, Senator Armstrong, Redredge, Harry Flanagan, The Other Wes, Arno, Matt Pearson, Mark Rojas, Quote, Tucker Morgan, David McGarry, Goddison, Sven Hooster, Pez, Bone Mold, John Akers, Tim Robinson, Forrest Pruitt, Dark Insanities, Eric Hamilton Schneider, Christoph Atui, Grizzly Mug, Cameron Laird, Zachary Snader, Alex Goucher, George Dakotas, Jacob Godserve, Anthea Jen, James Med, and Ryson. Who was your favorite Battle Pass holder you saw in the 10 years of No Clip video? That was my favorite part, was all the comments of people going, oh, look, it's Christoph Fatui. Oh, look, it's George Dakotas. They've got faces. Tim Robinson, he's right there. It's not the guy from the TV show.
Their names are so ingrained in my psyche that it's proof to me that advertising works, because If Cameron Ladd was a soda on the shelf, I would probably buy it because it's the phrase. There's just the like divorced from the meaning. Just the sound of the noises is familiar to me and comfortable.
What do we think Cameron Ladd tastes like?
Sprite.
Sprite.
I was gonna say
just
root
like
beer.
a refreshing Cameron Ladd.
Oh, root beer. No Cap says root beer. That's pretty good. Frank, you want to throw one out there? Some weird Japanese, one of those warm jelly sodas you get.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Banana pudding.
Oh, that's good. Banana pudding is underrepresented, I feel like, in Western drinks. That seems like something you'd see in Japan. And yeah, banana. Banana's awesome. I have a friend I was chatting to last week. I have a friend, guys. It's a new thing I'm trying out last week. And he was saying, I was like, do you not any foods you don't like? And he said banana. And I was like, that's the best fruit. But I kind of get it. It's, tastes weird, feels weird, looks weird.
When I went to Vermont with one of my old friends, I never knew in many, many years of friendship that he hates bananas for somehow. It just never came up. And so I brought a shit ton of bananas because I eat them all the time. And so every time I would eat one, I would eat it like in the breeze way, like I was smoking a cigarette. And it became a running joke that I was like, I'm going to go, have a banana on the breezeway. And then it's like bananas are so normal that we went grocery shopping. And while we were there, I was like, oh, we should get more bananas. And he like looked at me with dismay. And I was like, oh yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm not like fucking with you. It's so like normal to get bananas, It's like saying, oh, we should buy more apples. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. But does he not like bananas, or does he have like an aversion to bananas? Like Rakion and the mustard and CKY, you know what I mean? Just like can't be around it.
He's just has a normal, just doesn't like bananas. They do have a very potent smell. If you didn't like the smell of banana, they'd be a rough food.
Yeah, my friend also mentioned the smell, which I had not considered. I would have thought it was like texture, fine. Shape, maybe you've got some, Freudian things going on in there. Don't want to be near this long ass fruit. This fruit's too long, man. I got a limit on how long fruit can be. And it's 6 inches. All right, let's get into the podcast. Somebody on the last one said if there was an HR department, Danny would have been fired from No Clip. So I'm gonna take that to my grave. That's where I'm taking that. All right, let's talk about some actually, one thing to mention beforehand, we have another podcast. It should be live by the time this podcast goes live. Actually, no, I'm not sure if that's the case. It definitely is for patrons though. And in fact, there is a new episode up. I interviewed Harvey Smith and Ben Horn from Black Pony Interactive. So Harvey, of course, ex Arcane Austin, Ben as well. They have a new studio. Austin sort of centralized, working on Sims, had a great conversation about Redfall closing down Arcane Austin when that happened. Rather, they did not personally close it down. They were fired. Setting up, a new studio, funding in 2026, the health of immersive Sims, and then also the patrons over on the Discord gave me some questions. I rapid fired at the end to them as well. So if you're on the Patreon over at NoClip, that's our brand new podcast. Same thing as here. You'll get it 2 days early every week. We've got Game Club episodes. Myself and Timur talking about Metal Gear Solid. We have upcoming Film Club episodes. Myself and Jeremy are going to talk about Stalker. So yes, brand new podcast over there. And yeah, you get it 2 days early if you're a patron. If you're not, just go sign up to the No Clip podcast feed. I'll stick a link in the description here today. If you're a member or a sub of the old Dear Dwyery feed, it's the same feed. We're just kind of taking that one over. So more podcasts in your ears than ever before. And if you haven't checked out the 10th anniversary video, do so over youtube.com/@noclipdocs, or just type NoClip into YouTube because that's probably a lot easier. And it was a lot of fun to put that together. 10 minutes of our patrons telling us which docs they liked, reminding us which docs we made, because I forgot about some of these, to be honest. I was like, FTL? Oh yeah, we did that one, didn't we? It was a lot of fun to put it together. So yes, the 10th anniversary celebrations continue. All right, first of all, let's actually start with VHOLUME, because 3 of us have played it. No Caps, do you want to start with this? This game came up it was either in a Next Fest video or like some type of preview. I forget. There was a demo out that came out maybe 6, 8, 9 months ago. So I was aware of it. I played it back then. The game is now out. Tell us about VHOLUME with a VH at the start.
Yeah, so this is a first-person parkour game. It's kind of set like in this, I guess it's series of levels, but it's like in different mega structure, like concrete buildings and blocks type of thing. And you go through each level as fast as you can, basically. Or you could go slow if you want, but it's really flowy game. You're sliding, jumping, running, wall running. So it's pretty like tight set of mechanics, I would say, that is pretty easy to pick up, honestly, if you're not used to these types of games. But also, I would say it has a pretty high skill ceiling if you want to like find shortcuts and get into bee hopping and all that. But it's a super, super awesome like atmosphere. It's kind of like dreary, but also like I found myself just completely stopping in this game where you're supposed to run through it and just like looking up at the lights and like seeing what was around. But I've had a great time playing it so far.
Yeah, there's something about the art. The art direction is wonderful, but there's something about like the aliasing or the softness and the lighting that the whole thing just feels. You said dreary, and I thought you were going to say dreamy, and I think both of them apply.
Yeah.
It's sort of like a dreary dream. Jeremy, how much have you played of Volume, and what do you make of it?
I played like more than an hour, less than 2.
Which is actually a lot for a game like this, because the levels are like a couple of minutes long, right?
Yeah, like a good run, like a silver medal on some of them is like a minute long. Yeah, it's really good. It's like it feels sort of, if you compare it to something like Neon White, it is interesting how empty it feels to me. Which I think is a good thing and bad thing depending on your taste, sort of. Neon White is very like, oh, here's like a character. They have like an anime voice, and you get all these cards. There's like angels, and there's portraits, and like there's so much going on. That in Neon White I was kind of like, oh, thank God I get to play the game again. Like I'm in a level.
Right.
Whereas Volume is just it's all killer, no filler. Yeah, it's just level. In fact, I just went to the Steam page and read about the game, and the first sentence I was shocked to see was, in the derelict capital of Afro-Eurasia, ruled by an all-controlling ministry, Robert embarks on a bureaucratic quest to restore his family's revoked ration tickets.
Are you kidding me?
No, that's the about this game for Volume, which. None of that would, as far as, I mean, I've played not a ton of this game, but enough to be shocked that is the premise of this game.
Yeah,
because it's just a game where you're running in buildings.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen non-player characters as like sort of these interesting little weird lads, but like, no, it doesn't start with like an opening cutscene about
where
Robert.
He's like, my ration tickets. He's like holding them in his hands.
Bobby, don't run. I need to run, Ma. I need to get the ration tickets.
What I was born for. Yeah, there's kind of none of that. I was shocked to see that. It is interesting though. It creates sort of like I instantly sort of understood the setting more and the feelings that it evokes, which are, you're in this sort of dreary world, but you're having this sort of dreamlike, flowy experience above it, almost like you're running through these rafters and sort of like emerging into these vistas, these sort of like rooftop vistas. And I feel like that like narrative almost shines through in the emotional tone of being in this world, which is that it's like dreary and oppressive, but you feel through this like flowy expression that there's like a sense of freedom or flow that transcends it. So that's interesting, but yeah, it's like, I don't know. I think this is a very specific type of game.
Yeah.
I think if you play something like Neon White and the whole of the draw for you is going into a level, seeing your time, shaved down by tenths of a second because of self-mastery, and then finally getting that gold, or like finally comparing to whatever your friend on Steam who's really good at this game. I think there's a really fun loop of self-mastery. I think it feels a little like empty, and I think that is by design, and I'm still sort of like figuring out how I feel about that. Like I think I'll know better after I play maybe 5 hours of it.
Yeah, I feel so. I think everything when you're talking about a game like this has to be caveated by the fact that this game currently costs $7.20. So like this is not I'm not expecting this game to be the land, the earth, and the sea, right? Like this is sort of designed to be a more singular experience, perhaps. I think I adore this game. I would buy this game 100 times out of 100 times, and I think people should definitely check out the Steam page. I loved games like Mirror's Edge. This feels like best in class for one of those games. Like the flow, the camera, the level design, the feel of the world. I really enjoyed disappearing into it for an hour. I will say the thing maybe that I had trouble with was pacing. That like it's hard to play a game like this for a long period of time. It doesn't slow down that often. It does every once in a while, but like even as No Caps was saying, I found myself sort of encouraging myself to slow down, to look at the views and sort of take it all in, because I think it does a really good job of not having like too much of the track disappear behind you before you get to enjoy it. But there were some times where I just wanted to like sit and enjoy and look around. And I know there are leaderboards and stuff like that. And this game could be played co-op. Do we know how many people you can get in a game in this thing? I think the trailer had 2 other people.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've seen multiple.
But it's more. Yeah, it's more than 2 anyway, which you can play, and it has leaderboards obviously and stuff like that, which makes complete sense. I was pushed forward by the that adventure game line we often bring up of I want to see what the next level looks like, because this game is so beautiful to just run around in. But yeah, like Jeremy said, I think if you're going to complete this game, I think you know it's probably something that needs to attach onto pretty strongly, and for you to have that competitive edge, which I'm sure people did. But like I really enjoyed Neon White, but I guess there were gameplay methods that it had to get me to try and do well within the levels, but this game doesn't have any of those. It's not like you're getting like, they don't do like 3 stars for you to complete the level fast, or like unlock a thing, which is, you know, again, probably in service of the game on a grander artistic level. But I think I'm probably the person that unfortunately needs the carrot on a stick to really care about that sort of stuff outside of leaderboards. But it's great. I think it's for $7 for $8 or whatever when it's full price. This to me is like I sat down a couple nights ago and played it for an hour with a glass of whiskey, and it felt like just a really fun, chill, refined night of artistic gaming. And I'm looking forward to jumping back into it again. But yeah, it's just, I adore the art style. I just think the art direction and the animation and the camera work especially is just incredible. And the thing that I think makes me want to come back is that the levels get more, from what I've seen so far, and also from what I've seen from the trailers, where there's areas that I haven't gotten to yet, the scale and the sort of variety of the areas is very, very cool. Because at the start I was like, oh, it's probably mostly going to be this one city, right? And I'll probably get bored of these levels, but it goes in crazy places. So yeah.
Yeah, I almost wished I liked the environment design so much that I almost wished there was sort of like two passes on each level. I almost wish there was like a
Right.
Lorne's Lure sort of initial pass where it wasn't like maybe it was timed, but it wasn't surfacing the time to you, so that you could sort of drink it all in on your first run, almost like a reconnaissance run, where it's like, don't worry about time, just like run through this and get the feel for it. And then maybe once you complete it once, it loops you back, and it's like, all right, here's level 2, or here's level 1 again, and now the timer is like
Right.
more surfaced or something. Because yeah, I felt the same way. I initially, like every level, I was like, I want to do the best I can on this. But there was a part of my brain that was fighting, because I was like, I want to just like take it in. Like I want to like explore this world. I wish there was almost like a series of all these levels strung together without a timer or something, like this longitudinal journey. Just because it's a nice, it's got like nice atmosphere and feel, and it looks amazing.
Any final thoughts on it, No Caps?
I was gonna say it's kind of funny your like perspective on that, Jeremy, because I was kind of the opposite, and I just pretty much ignored
Really?
the timer. And then one time I got bronze, and I was like, oh, that's cool. But like even the first level, I just like was going up to the rooftops and getting out of bounds and stuff immediately. Like I was
funny.
like, there was definitely multiple points where I kind of lost track of even where the end of the level was, because I had gotten off the path. So I don't know. I felt like I knew that I could go back to the levels at any point, like from the menu. So if I ever wanted to be fast, I could just go back and do that. But I guess it's kind of,
You know what it might have been? I played a lot of the demo for this game. I feel like maybe I had preloaded enough of it that I was like in competition mode from the get-go or something.
I think it does speak to maybe the lack of mechanics or the pacing that in both of your cases, you're almost trying to search for solutions to this particular like little, I don't know if it's a thorn in your foot or something, but it's not like the game is maybe that's fine. Maybe a game, trusting the player to find their own method of playing the game is a good thing. But it's almost like in the absence of a some sort of strict gamified way to either get you to slow down or speed up, we have found our own solutions, and some of those are more satisfying than others. Maybe, I don't know.
I think there's a part of my brain that when it sees the timer at the, like, if I did like a slow casual loop and was like, oh, I want to explore more, and then it was like, oh man, like, wow, you really explored the level, but you didn't even get a bronze. I'm like, oh fuck, I like did something wrong.
Is the timer even on the I don't think there's a timer on the screen. Do you press a button or something to make the timer come up, or it must be somewhere? Is it?
Probably.
I was not, if it was on the screen during the run, I wasn't aware of it because
It definitely wasn't on the screen.
Yeah, it doesn't give you any input.
It's like no UI, right? Isn't there in this?
I forget. Think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so either. No, it's very minimalist. I think, like I was saying, I think just knowing that this is a game that, like, even if I hadn't played the demo, I would know that this was a game where you do runs and there are ranks for the runs. And
when you finish the level, it's like the first thing that comes up, right?
Yeah. You would have to play this game for about 30 seconds to understand that that's the type of game it was. But yeah, no, it's like, it is a hard solution to solve with game design or with player feedback. Like the UX question is, how do you validate people who are like, oh yeah, I like explored and it took me 5 minutes to do this 1 minute run. And it's like, the game has to be like, well, you didn't even get a bronze, but like, that's cool.
There also are like hidden things. There's like, you can unlock B-sides for the levels. So like,
yes, that is, I guess, the gameplay solution. You're right.
Yeah, it's and it's funny. Like, the more I think about the things that, like, the game on its own terms, I really love, and I shouldn't be like arguing with myself over this alternative, shittier AAA version of this game, or gamified version of this game, because I do really love how stripped back the whole thing is. It's so immersive, and yeah, I almost want to I want to play it in VR so I get sick. It's like, because some of these, I'm playing on that, just a regular monitor in the house, and you feel like sometimes you jump and it's like that field of view and you look down, you're like, fuck, I don't know about this. It is also, I think, aggressively French because I think the developers are French, or maybe they're French Canadian. Nathan Grange, Leonard Lemaitre, I want to say, and Niels Tersilin or something. I don't know, Nels Tersilin. Maybe it sounds very European, but it definitely has like a. It's cool. And the slide as well. I really like the slide that's in it. It's very minimal in terms of inputs. And just, when you're turning and it's like swimming left and right, I think the camera work is just really, really special. Volume is available now, 10% off at the moment, but $8, would you believe? It's also got it's in a bundle with the Cannon of Balls we talked about last week. With 12% off for the two of them. You can get them both for $10.59, which is an absolute steal. There's also the volume demo is still available, so you can download the demo to volume if you want to give it a go. But yeah, 3 thumbs up from us.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm dying to play Straftat now, especially, which is from one of the same developers. Danny, have you played Straftat?
Straftat? No, I haven't. Is it about strafing and tattooing?
It's definitely about strafing. I don't know if I don't know what the tat refers to. It's a
this looks cool.
Yeah, it's a first-person shooter from one of the same developers, who also made Babdi, which is another cool game.
Free to play.
But yeah, Straftat is just like super hardcore, kind of like old school FPS, like more like arena FPS. Just like jumping and running and sliding. But I can never convince a group of 4 people to play it with me. I'm dying to play it.
16,000 reviews, overwhelmingly positive. Came out 2 years ago. This is the problem, man. We're fucking on this beat, and I never heard about this one either. This is crazy. Yes, Leonard Lemaitre, I think. The Lemaitre brothers, Sirius and Leonard, worked on this apparently. Yeah, I'll play this with you. We can get 2 more.
Let's do it.
Get No Caps and Frank involved. Play some fucking it's just hardcore arena FPS. Looks cool. It has a lot of the camera feel and stuff of Volume as well. You can kind of see.
Yeah, for sure.
But with guns. No guns. You don't fire a gun in Volume.
If you play Volume and you're like, God, I wish I had a gun and my friends were here. Well, your friends can be a Volume, but the gun part.
Perfect. Volume. VHOLUME. Check it out. Okay, I want to talk about a game that was recommended to me, or recommended to the NoClip Blue Sky account, I want to say. I'm going to see if I can find the person who recommended this, because they deserve a shout out. This is the most Jeremy Jane ass video game I have ever seen, and I had to immediately. I'm sure you had this on your radar already, but I was. I want to shout out. It's Michael Pakalik. I want to say Michael Pakalik. Thank you, Michael, for putting this on my radar. He actually tagged you in it as well, because he was like, "This is more of a Jeremy game." I could tell.
Oh, I didn't even see that. My bad.
It's called The Lantern of the Laughless Saint. It is a Morrowind. Look, it says on the Steam page, a solo or co-op RPG inspired by Morrowind. I cannot stop playing this game, but I'm very interested to hear what Jeremy thinks. Jeremy, what have you made of The Lantern of the Laughless Saint? First of all, don't like the name, but apart from that, what did you think about it?
The name is funny because to me, it's like, it doesn't have curb appeal, but if once you play the game, you understand why the person who created these characters in this world would be like, that's the thing I want front and center.
Yeah.
But it kind of expresses sort of like, I think this game is really, really cool. I think it has a lot of cool things about it. I think it's a little like uneven. There are parts of it that I think are way cooler than other parts, which I find a little rough and uneven. And
it is in early access, we should mention as well.
Yes, I am definitely more forgiving of it for that as well. But yeah, you are sort of like on a boat headed to this mysterious island because this dream has called you there of this weird jester figure, this like saint figure in this tower, and you come to this island that has this big tower on it, and that's kind of it. It's just like it's a Morrowindy, and it just sets you loose in this world, and yeah, you're kind of just like you and a bunch of you show up basically. And you're like, I'm like the chosen one, and this guy's like, nah, there's like a fucking million people like
he's
you
like, this entire island is full of people who have had the same dream as you, jerk.
Yeah. It's like it's like the beginning of Oblivion. If Uriel Septim was like, you are the one from my dreams, and then the next person who walked in the room, he's like, you were also there. You were in my dream too. And then like that continues as thousands of people flood into the room, and he's like, you were there too.
Yeah, he's just like he's got dementia, and he's
just an old guy who's like
just an old guy. Yeah,
he's like, I reckon, were you my son? You're like, oh fuck. He said that to me too. Don't feel special. But yeah, so they just kind of set you loose in this world. There's like a little sort of town, meet some people, kind of talk to them about their stuff. It definitely like, I think the thing that was missing for me in the setup that I was kind of grasping for was Morrowind has this and to compare this to Morrowind is obviously very unfair. It's a game made by way more people, way bigger budget. You know, it's a orders of magnitude different project. I was waiting for like a very unique sort of identity to kick in through the writing and world building. I kept feeling like this game had so much potential, and it had this vision for like the island with the tower. The tower is fucking huge, and it's like this megalithic dungeon at the center of the island. Like, I thought that all that stuff was really cool. I was just waiting for it to do something that I was like, oh fuck, I've never seen this particular flavor in an RPG or something. And I'm kind of still waiting for that moment.
I think you'll see it. I think you'll get there. So I've played, I don't know, maybe 9-10 hours of this so far. I adore this game, and I did not play. Morrowind is a bit of a. I played maybe when it first came out. I can't even remember. Maybe 5-10 hours of Morrowind or something like that. But it never stuck with me. I know I love it if I go back and play it now, but I've just never gotten to it. I think the setup. I love the setup for this. Arriving at this island, like you said, like while the game has a sort of Morrowind feel to it, the vibe I get from this is like sort of early From Software, like it's or like even Shadow of the Colossus is an easy one, or Eco, because like the tower in the middle of this island is absolutely massive. It is just like in the middle of the thing. It's huge. It's like several stories high. It's like sort of Tower of Babel looking, and then it almost looks like the center of the capital in Oblivion, kind of shooting up from the top of it. It's vast, and even getting into it seems to be like the big problem, right? So like that's the main quest is like get in, right? But then everyone on this island is like, some of them are like, oh, like my husband ran into the tower. Like everyone who runs into the tower, you know, you never see them again. Like they're we assume they die or whatever. And then so there's people on the island who like don't listen to the dream anymore because they don't want to get caught in running in. There's some people who are slowly going mad because they want to go into the tower, but they know they shouldn't go into the tower because they'll never come back. And then there's like this sort of weird tertiary like service industry of people who live around the tower who are like, those people are crazy, right? But like, don't worry about it. Buy some burnt wood from me. And then the island as well is full of like enemies, and you know, they all have their levels, and you have a level, and you level up your things. If you run around and jump, your acrobatic skill goes up. If you sneak, your sneak skill goes up. Does this sound familiar? It's very Bethesda RPG kind of. There's magic, there's swords. The hand-to-hand combat I really like. There's a lot of blocking and riposting and getting people back on their heels and then hitting them. The enemy design I love. There is some absolutely insane stuff in this game once you start like going out into the woods. The starfish, I'll just say, are terrifying. First time I saw one of those, I ran away so fast. I have seen level 40, like, I don't even know what you call them, homunculi that are just like jumping really high and trying to attack me. The island isn't massive, but the gameplay is super dense. So you're finding like little dungeons that you can go into with skeletons and killing them. You're doing a lot of like backtracking to the town. Eventually I got a spell that let me fast travel. There's no fast travel, but you can like, there are spells that you can use to fast travel, like set an anchor point, and you have to like find both sides of the spell to try and like get to a place. I got one that lets me travel back to the hometown, the place where you start. I did a quest where I got a little shack. There's like there's lots of inversions of quests. Like, what did you see the guy who jumped really high at the start?
Yes, I did. Because that's straight up like a Morrowind reference.
That's like a reverse Morrowind joke, right? Because the guy falls in Morrowind, and this guy
Morrowind famously you
jump.
can level up your like acrobatic skills in such a broken way that you can jump basically over the world. And there's a potion very early in this game where there's a guy talking to you, and he like. It looked. I couldn't even figure out what happened. He like teleports. He like moves so fast that it looks like a bug. And you're like, what the fuck just happened to that guy? Like, this game's broken. He left behind this potion called the Potion of Akarian Ambition. And I was like, Akarian, what is that? Like, is that like a place in this world? And then you take it and you realize it's an Icarus reference.
Yeah.
For I don't need to tell you.
Did you jump?
Yeah, I did. In fact, I saved, jumped, died.
Me too.
And then I was the rest of my playtime, the next like 3 hours, I was looking for places where I could use it appropriately. Yeah. Like places where, because if you start here and you jump, when you come back down, you die. It's not the jump that kills you, it's the fall.
Yeah. So if you jump up to a ledge that's like,
yes, I was constantly looking for a ledge that was appropriately high.
But you jump like 600 feet or something, right?
I for a few minutes, I was like, maybe I can, jump up to the Laughless Saint and beat this game.
Exactly, right? Yeah. I thought, and it is sandboxing in that way. Like the game just lets you go in whatever direction you want, and the quests are. I've just really enjoyed. Like, I love the lore. The people I met, I've had like, you level up and you could unlock traits, and I unlock traits that then like other people within the world suddenly don't like me because they know that I'm a certain type. There's really funny ones as well. Like there's ones where if you're naked, you end up like getting a big stat bonus. If there's loads of stuff like that. In the same way of those Souls games, you have to do a lot of figuring stuff out. Like what exactly heals me? You have a mortar and pestle at the start, and you have to kind of learn and figure out what the potions are. When I got the key to my house for the first time, the guy just said, "Oh yeah, it's in the south. It's like a 1-story shack. It's got like a stool outside of it." It took me like 5 minutes to find it. But whereas like if that was in Skyrim, there's a big marker on the map telling me where it was, but it was fun. It was like that, and that's what I'm really enjoying about it. Also, this game may have the best map I have ever seen in a video game.
It's insane. It's just a 3D version of the entire world from like a god's eye perspective. It's
including insane. Like the sun's direction. Like it's literally they're literally just like they must be using a camera and just having some shader that like breaks down the like
Yeah,
the
it must be like
foliage or something.
a LOD version,
Yes.
like a level detail version, like what in games there you often see like a dummy version of a model from far away because it doesn't need to load in the high fidelity version. Yeah, because it's just the entire fucking world. It's crazy.
And you can like zoom in. It's almost like Google Maps when you're using the 3D. Like you can zoom in and see, oh, topographically, that's a hill. And like it's funny because like I've used it and it's all unlocked at the start. Like the actual like towns and stuff aren't yet. You learn those from talking to people, from doing quests, things like that. But the actual map, I've used it to like figure out ways around because you can't just. The other thing about this world is that like there's lots of very sheer cliffs. There's lots of the only way in is through a cave to get to the next level of the island or whatever. It has this like the island itself feels like a mega structure. It feels dangerous and weird and there's so many different like enemies you find. There's like little cute little frog guys, and then there's these little freaky little things that look like kids with no eyes, and there's all this madness, and you're collecting items and you don't have a clue what they do. What do I do with all these frog legs? You know what I mean? Like, am I supposed to eat the frog legs, cook the frog legs? It's got like sneak and kind of like lock picking. The lock picking mini game is in there, the one from Oblivion, I think. There's loads going on, and I just love the lore. I finally got to the town on the other side of the island, and I love all the stuff over there. It was the opposite of it took me forever to get there, and then like you think in any other game there's going to be like a fanfare, like, oh, here's the, and then you get there and it's like the total opposite of what I expected, and it was really like interesting and cool. And I just, I don't know why. I love this thing. I'll say there's definitely some performance issues I've had, especially in the main city, and it seems to be computational rather than like VRAM related. I think this game runs pretty hot. Like, how was it running on your machine? Because like I have a new graphics card, and this thing was struggling a bit.
I think it mostly ran pretty good. I had like one visual glitch in the intro cutscene, which was very confusing to me because I was like, wow, that was such an esoteric cutscene. And then I played it again and it was like, oh no, there was just a missing scene in the middle of that. But I was like, wow, these guys are wild for this shit. It's like some David Lynch shit. It's just like an empty black screen with abstraction bullshit on it. But yeah, no, it ran pretty good, especially given like the draw distances and the sort of like grandiosity of some of these vistas and stuff. Also, it is funny to mention that the map being so useful outside that you can see like, oh, this is 1-to-1. This is like what the hill. It's not like World of Warcraft where it's like a drawing of 3 hills, right? And then you go there and it's like, oh, there's definitely more than 3 hills here. It's representative. The map being so accurate is hilarious because I spent most of the game inside a tower, which you can't see in the tower because it occludes your view. So it is funny to have the best map in the world, and then it's like in the dungeon, it's completely useless.
I love it. So have you gone into the tower?
I went there almost straight away. In fact,
I've been playing for like 9-10 hours. I've not even gone in yet.
That's fucking crazy. That is what I wanted to talk to you about most, because I found that I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be there yet. And this is one thing I'll say is that I think if you are someone who plays ranged in RPGs like this, first person RPGs, I think the ranged is very, very cheesable in this.
Oh, interesting.
And so I would actually recommend people play melee in this for sort of like a balanced experience, because I found myself totally unstoppable. So I went to the dungeon and, fought a couple like level 1 skeletons. I was like, this is cool. I'll probably have to like turn around some point because I've only been playing for like an hour. And then I was hitting like level 13 fucking like skeleton snake guys. And
those guys are freaky.
And I could just run backwards and kill them. Like I was completely unstoppable. A lot of the nav mesh stuff has trouble with some of the lips and stuff too. Like they get caught on lips and stuff. So I would. But the thing is that it's a tough situation because this game is so fucking big that like, I think playtesting every edge case of every unit, like different scales of units and whatever, on different like lips, and it just would be, you'd have to put a lot of like little invisible ramps on the nav mesh to fix it. And I think it's funny. Like all hand tailored. But I just couldn't be stopped because I was just fucking like, I was just cheesing everything.
Well, that's like the
it was fun
experience
in its own way.
I had. Whereas like if I got caught with 2 guys, who are like slightly higher level than me, I was like, oh, I'm in trouble here.
Yeah, I should have played Melee. I fucking love being like a sneaky little bow guy in these games.
No, it's class because it's like, I think the freedom, you know, therein is, it creates problems, obviously. Like, and in fairness, I did check out the reviews for this, and a lot of people were saying that the tower itself felt quite empty, I think, or like sort of bereft of stuff to do, whereas I found the overworld to be incredibly dense. I had just speaking to that freedom and systemic game design and stuff, I just went off wandering and I found what I thought was the tower, but it ended up being like this, you know, incredibly big building, which was actually like not anywhere near, like it was beside the tower. It was like one of the tower's little legs or something. You know what I mean? It was not actually the tower. And I kind of cheesed my way into a level of it. And oftentimes you find yourself, oh God, I just love the level design in this game. Like I found myself in places where you can look down a grate and you can see like below into the room below, and it's like 100 feet. You know what I mean? And then a light, and you can see people walking around down there. It's just, oh, it's so evocative. But I went in and I killed a couple of these skeleton guys, and I got some stuff. And then, you know, encumbrance is a big thing in this game. You're going to go back and sell a lot of stuff to the merchants. You're going to, you know, decide not to bring as many frog legs because they're pretty fucking heavy, and they come in twos. And then I played a bit of this, and then I got a bunch of really cool weapons at the end that I was like, oh, I'm going to use these and sell these ones. And I had this like big bag. Sometimes you collect these bags. Like one I got was like a bag of snakes or like a bag of something else, and this was like Giblul's bag or something. And I was like, oh, I don't fucking know who Giblul is, and it only costs like 30 silver to sell, so it's not really worth that much for the weight. And then I went back to the town and I talked to some people. And one guy wouldn't talk to me for a while because he thought I was like, I wasn't of a certain level and something. And then I was chatting to him, and he was like, I was like, is that anything I can help you with? And he was like, yeah, my stupid idiot, like a guy who like delivers stuff for me went missing. His name is Giblul. If you could find the bag. And I was like, oh no. Oh, so then I had to like I was like, where did I leave that bag? And does this game save? Because this was like 3 hours earlier. Does this game save when you just toss something on the ground? And I eventually found my way in because I cheesed it in. So I had to like use the map to find the exact same way back in. I went through. Baddies don't respawn. I don't think. I've not noticed that. I've gone through areas and they've never respawned, but every once in a while you might pull someone you never pulled before, kind of thing. So maybe it's a bit of 6 of one, half dozen the other. But I went back into that area and the bag was still there. It was just like hanging off the edge of a building. And I was so satisfied because I like picked it up. Great. I used my new spell to travel back, and then I did it. And it was just like, cool. Like I like this game. It's like trusting me to mess around and do silly things. I found a key in one of the castles. I spent 10 minutes running around trying to find which door it opened. Never found it. I'm like, I'm going to go back and find that thing. I really enjoy it. It feels to me like playing like Oblivion for the first time kind of stuff. And like it's weird because it's not, I feel like we've played a lot of games like this that are like indie first person RPGs, but they're fairly limited in scope, which makes sense, right? And then you get to like the sort of Morrowind fan project that takes 10 years to make, or Black Mesa, and that's like scaled up all the way. This feels like neither of those to me. This feels like a From game. It feels like super dense, not massive. Not, it's not Elden Ring. It's like Dark Souls 1 kind of is what this feels in terms of like level density and intention and mechanics and stuff. And I didn't play enough Morrowind to say, but to me, this has at least one foot in Japanese game design. I'm not sure if Morrowind did, but this feels, in terms of the combat, in terms of the world building, to me, it has a real identity of its own self. And that might be from spending time on the island. That like this doesn't feel derivative. Like if I get why it's a Morrowind like, but this feels very cool. And even the fucking graphics, everything's so saturated, and the light and shadows are really harsh. There's weird planetary stuff happening, so every once in a while you get this like red nighttime, and I had a storm with the red nighttime, and everything was just black. And the sky was like, that day the fires happened, right? It was just like red sky, and then lightning would happen, and everything would light up, and then you have to go in your inventory and hit your lantern button, so you got your lantern on, and it's just, I think this thing is fucking really cool, and I just want to stop this podcast and go back and play some more London.
Yeah, it's the comparison with Kingsfield and stuff is interesting because it like I think Queen's Domain is sort of a natural game to compare this to.
Yeah.
Queen's Domain, obviously a Kingsfield inspired indie game
but way more compressed in comparison to how this feels, right?
Well, Kingsfield itself is quite compressed, is quite like dense and not like linear, but like tight, restrained, constrained. And it was interesting to compare this because I feel like the thing that Queen's Domain gave me was a feeling of very tuned, like ratcheted down game design. It felt like each element of the dungeon felt very well paced in the demo, and like things were sort of like balanced like it was tuned. It was very tuned. I feel like Laughless Saint is way looser, but in service of a grander vision. And so as I was going through the dungeon, it was giving me feelings of grandiosity that Queen's Domain did not at all. But in terms of the actual like encounters and pacing and stuff like that, it felt like kind of all over the place. But I didn't really mind that because I feel like it was like any sort of sandbox adjacent game. That's kind of the risk you run, is that you'll play Kenshi and you'll have like 5 boring fucking hours. But it's in service of like, if you have to give the player the freedom to have a neutral or boring experience, so that when they have a peak experience, it feels of their own making and of their own choosing. And I think that I forgive any sort of like jank or looseness in a game like this because I'm just like on a big fucking adventure. Like if you were like on an adventure in medieval Europe, you wouldn't be like, oh, there's not enough skeletons in this dungeon. You just be like, I hope I survive.
Yeah, I did a lot of the first time I tried to get to the other side of the island, to the other town, I took one route that like every step I took, I was like, this is definitely the wrong way. Like,
that's how I felt the whole time I was playing this game. I still don't. The fact that you and I spent the entire, like, I spent 5 hours, which is half of your playtime,
in the tower,
and we probably didn't intersect at all. Like, if we were in the same world, we probably wouldn't have run into each other once.
Yeah, I bet we saw the cart outside the town, and that's it. Did you see the guy burning wood?
I don't think so.
Okay, yeah, the potash guy or whatever. Yeah, there's. I was in a pirate ship on the beach that was surrounded by those bloody starfish things. I was on the other side of the island with. Have you seen? I'm guessing they have the blobs from episode 3, the unreleased Half-Life expansion pack.
I did see some
come
blobs.
Across those. The blobs.
I found quite a few blobs. I saw whatever enemies are on the road from the starter town to the entrance to the tower.
Yeah,
that's the only part of the open world I saw. I feel like I need to go. I never left the tower. I went in the tower an hour in, and then I spent 4 hours in the fucking tower.
That's which I'll be honest, I'm not surprised because it is like a quarter of the map. Maybe.
I've never seen since I started getting loot, I've never seen a vendor. I just carry I have an almost full encumbrance, and I'll find an axe and be like, this is worth more than an axe I'm holding, and I'll just drop I'm just cycling.
You can't get back, can you?
No, I know I don't have the spell to teleport. I didn't even know it was there until you mentioned it. I mean, I figured there was something like that.
I eventually found it. I think the mage guy in the town sold it to me, and I was like, "Thank Christ for this."
It would take me so long to get back to town
that
I just never went. I just kept fucking going deeper and deeper, and I was like cheesing the game with a bow, so there was nothing could stop me.
Amazing! That's so funny. Video games are great.
Yeah,
it's like watching a movie and having 2 completely different experiences. It's
like we watched the same movie and 2 completely different plots happen.
We watched 2 different scripts. It's like I could tell you all about what's the most messed up thing I've seen. I can't say. I'll just spoil it for people. But yeah, I was walking one direction and the levels kept getting higher, and I was just about getting past, and I was starting to sprint past things. And then at a certain point, this is before I had the spell to return home, and at a certain point, I was like, no. This is wrong, Danny. You are 30 levels too low for this. This is a bad idea. And I started my shamefully walking back. And then I eventually found there, because it's an island, so there's like loads of ways around. Although the center of the island is the tower, so you can't just go through the middle. And getting into there is its own trick. It's weird. I didn't find the entrance to the tower until I was like several hours in.
There's a guy in the starter zone who tells you about it, and if you don't hear it, then the thing on the map is just like the hole or something.
Yeah, and I had walked past it, so I knew it. I walked towards it, and I kind of saw, and I was like, all right, I have to come back here because this is weird that there's like this crack in the earth here, but I'll come back. And I kept going around to the beach.
Now I'm realizing I couldn't have left the tower anyway because the entrance to it is like a huge thing you jump off of.
Oh, it is?
So yeah, that's why they call it the hole. So I don't think I could have left anyway. I'm just like walking around looking for I'm like lost in the mall looking for my mom as a child. It's like
closed down and you can't get out of the mall.
Yeah, I'm just living off of pretzels at pretzel time and hoping someone shows up eventually.
It's just, Sbarro is your new mom. I know from walking around the tower that there are ways out once you're in it. And there are like secret, because I've seen because it's weird because the tower is so big, but the earth around it is it's like an island, right? So it's sort of, it's flat at the edges and it peaks, somewhat in the middle. So there are levels of the tower that are like underground. There are levels of the tower that are like the 5th level of the tower, but it's actually at land's height in the center of the island. So it's like the island is like, it's not just like a tower, it's in the middle of a desert. It's like, it's kind of built into this structure. But yeah, it's great. That's so funny because I've just had like hours upon hours of lore thrown at me.
I don't know what anything is.
You shouldn't go in the tower. It's clearly a lie. To here are the 7 different gods we pray to. We believe this. Like everyone has a different opinion on the tower, and I'm like feeling like I need to level up to go into the tower, and you're just like fucking Leroy Jenkinsing straight into it at the start of the game.
You're like at medical school, and I'm just some idiot who walked in and started doing surgery.
Exactly,
sight
right?
unseen.
Holy shit. All right. Look, if that conversation didn't get you into the Lantern of the Laughless Saint, then I'm not sure what will. It is available right now on early access on Steam for $20. Excuse me. Very positive so far, 941 reviews. People seem to be digging it. One of my favorite games of the year so far. Absolutely, really, really enjoying it. Frank Cowley, you have been Frank Cowley in Germany. Update: has there been anything of note at the Jeff Keighley German parade?
Yeah, they announced a new 2D Mega Man game, which looks really cool.
Excellent. That's it?
Yeah, that's for me at least.
That's it. What about the rest of us?
I don't know.
Did they show that Witcher 3 thing?
There was like an isometric, like it almost looked like Journey, but isometric. That looked pretty neat. It was like, I don't know, that looked neat. Everything else, like there's like, a Game of Thrones RTS. They showed trailers for Gears of War E-Day. A handful like Chinese games. Like, like, I don't know. Mega Man, though, was like, that's cool. That, for me, at least.
Nice. Do you know the name? Did it say?
It's like, it's weird. It's not Mega Man 12. It's like Mega Man, I forget.
X2.
It's Mega Man Dual Override. So there you go.
Wow.
And apparently there's a demo playable at Gamescom. So I wonder if it'll be at PAX or Tokyo Game Show, too. But yeah, it looks cool. It is the 12. Yeah, I thought it was going to just be Mega Man 12, but they call it Mega Man Dual Override. And they
Override.
And they introduced a new like girl Mega Man character, not role, but like an actual new. I don't know if she's playable. It's called Dual Override. Do you play as both? I don't know, but I was like, oh, cool, new Mega Man game. So and then they also teased for Pragmata. There's gonna be a DLC skin where you can be Mega Man, and then Diana is a role, and it's like, oh, that's really cute.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Nice.
I'm going to post an image in staff chat, and I want you guys to guess what franchise you think this new game announced is related to.
Okay, this was announced just today at the KeelyCon.
This was published 10 minutes ago. Don't look if it shows the file name.
Okay, I won't. Absolute.
This is a franchise that we've talked about so many times. I would never recognize this as part of it, though.
Okay. Let me think.
I need guesses from everyone.
I'm like, immediately my brain goes to like PUBG or something.
It's PUBG! Holy fuck, you nailed it. It's PUBGdead.net. It's a new multiplayer FPS with roguelite progression and apparently like the Bride of Chucky or something.
I want to mention that I've played a lot of PUBG. This looks nothing like PUBG, but I was struggling for like a games as service property that does not give a fuck about what it looks like or its licensing or anything. You
nailed it. That was
no
impressive.
Consistency. Wow, PUBG.
I was going to say Fortnite, but I knew that was wrong.
Yeah.
It's kind of in the same vein.
I've played so much Fortnite now, unfortunately, that I would be able to spot it. And the new Fortnite season or whatever mini season is also called Override. and it's got Sonic in it. It's got Knuckles. It's got Tails. It's got the Mega Man Blaster in it as well, Frank. It's got some sprites. They're weird. You can buy Dr. Eggman for probably $15 for a skin or something like that.
It's called the Mega Buster, actually.
Mega Buster?
Yeah, that's what his gun is called.
Bustin'? The guy's busting on people?
Yeah, that's his whole thing.
Bustin' makes him feel good?
It's his whole thing.
No idea. Mega Man, I did not respect your game. The new Fortnite season is just way too sweaty. People are like at the start of a new one, everyone's so good. It's just a nightmare. So I'm waiting till all the freaks leave, and it's just me and all the teenagers and stay-at-home moms again. That's where, and I say that as with a stay-at-home mom is in there playing Fortnite right now, so I know what I'm up against. She's good. So, but none of these fucking Call of Duty kids that come over for like a week and destroy all of us, like Gears of War multiplayer week 3. You're just like, fucking, nope, this was fun before, not anymore. Frank Howley, we made you wait to talk about your new adventure. You know, if it's not pinball, it's not some sort of anime, Japan, there's always something. Frank Howley is constantly in search of betterment and fun, new ways, new perspectives, and in this case, new sports. What happened here? You've gotten into America's pastime, or perhaps more accurately, Japan's pastime.
It's dual. Like, I mean, the full the lightning version of it is like, I noticed all the girl wrestlers love baseball. There's even a wrestler named Hazuki who comes out with her own custom jersey. Every show she has a different team. There's only 12 Japanese teams, so you kind of recognize them quickly. And I was like, oh shit, okay, everyone in Japan loves baseball. It's kind of one of the few major things that is unanimously everyone likes baseball. It's covered in the media.
Did we talk on this podcast about all the different Japanese baseball teams?
Yeah.
We did. Okay.
So over the summer at the library, there was just a book about like Japan's baseball. I'm like, oh my god, let me read this. Loved it. So then, like, in preparation for the next Japan trip, my friends and I bought tickets to go see a game at Tokyo Dome. Like, oh yeah, that'll be fun to check out. And then once we had the tickets, like, shit, I should probably go to a local baseball game. And then my friend Carlos at Sega invited me to an Angels game. The team sucks, but it was like, oh, that was such a fun experience. And even at the Angels Stadium, because Shohei Ohtani played, there was like 7 years worth of like Ohtani merch and memorabilia and museum shit just for Ohtani. I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I was like, damn, that was fun. But it's like, oh, it'd be fun to see a good team. And then I think I saw Dodgers announce Hello Kitty night, and I was like, oh man, Dodger tickets are so expensive, but the Hello Kitty stuff seems so cool. And then I have a friend who's really into like all LA sports, like he would go to Kobe games back when Kobe was, you know, still playing and still active and still alive. But so yeah, we went, and then it was such a tremendous time. I literally woke up the next day thinking like, fuck, if I had infinite money, I would just go to a Dodger game every day. And then within that same week, I went to a second Dodger game, and then now I'm like quickly learning like the thing to do is just use like SeatGeek, just use like a ticket reseller. You can buy tickets literally like even once after the first pitch. But I bought a ticket like 2 hours before for super cheap. I had insane like front row, well, not front row, but like first base seat at Dodger Stadium for like a pretty good bargain. I was like, oh my god! And now might go with friends again. But yeah, I had the thought of like, shit, like okay, I played the Japanese baseball game. Let's see the American baseball game. So I bought MLB The Show 26. The nice thing about getting into baseball at the end of the season is the current
the
sports,
game is cheap.
It's discount. It was like it was like $40 physical, and yeah, I immediately booted up. I played online with a friend at. We did each other's local teams. So I did the Los Angeles Dodgers. My friend did the Atlanta Braves. And it was so surreal seeing like how accurate, like, I mean, just the stadium itself, like Dodger Stadium was recreated. Like it was so insane. And then every single character animation, so dead on, like everyone's player mannerisms and everything. But the thing I noted is like, oh, MLB The Show, this is an annual franchise. They've been doing constantly iterating. And they have such a budget. Like it's a whole studio just doing this game. The production value is so much higher than the Japanese Konami baseball game.
Oh, no.
Like the Konami baseball game is good and charming, but it's like, oh, every element of this is super good.
This is the FIFA winning 11 or eFootball problem all over again. Is just the resource battle. It's hard to beat FIFA.
Yeah, so it's and the same thing. So I started doing like MLB The Show or whatever, Road to the Show. And the thing that's unique with this one is I haven't seen, maybe this is common, but I haven't seen this done in such a long time. But they have face scan in this, which I last did on like Tony Hawk Underground too. You can take a picture. And it's so surreal how like detailed it looks. And so yeah, I just took a picture of my face, put it in there, made myself. And it's the same thing as the MPB League where I'm like, oh, climbing up the ranks. So
do they have the Japanese leagues in this one?
No. So like there's no, that would be awesome. Ideally, I can play and then get drafted by a Nippon league, and then but I have my friend Cowley in both games, so I could bounce between the two. But
you could move to Japan in video games, the ultimate escapism.
But it's really funny because like you start the career and it's like your first like season is high school baseball. So I have my face and it's like it opens on a cutscene. It's like, man, it's our last day of high school. What do you think you're gonna do next? And it's like my face on this body. It's so weird. And then you play the high school league, you crush, and then you can pick what college you want, and you pick which state you're in. And it's so funny. It's like, oh, you can go to Cal State Fullerton, which is the university I went to.
That's crazy.
And so it's like your character's like, no, the commentators in MLB are like, Frank Cowley's always been saying his dream school has been Cal State Fullerton. And it's like, this is so surreal. So they don't say Howley, but they say Frank. And like even have people in the odds, you can, pick when you can pick your character, you can assign voice calls, and they have Frank in the system. So you'll have people going like, go Frank. And it's like, that's so cheesy, but it's really cool. And so, yeah, so I played a year for Cal State Fullerton, and it's so weird. Like, I don't know. It's extremely funny. And I think there's a lot of universities.
That's hilarious.
Cal State Fullerton is a notable baseball school. Like,
it is. Oh,
yeah.
funny.
So I don't think they have every university, but it's like, that's so funny. My alma mater's in there. And then from there, you can pick which team. So I got picked to the Dodgers, but then now the real game starts where they don't throw you on the main, the team. You're not playing with Ohtani. You got to work your way up. First, there's the AA, then the AAA, and then the actual like team. So it's like, I don't know how long it is, but again, just like with UFC or any sports game, now it's like Persona. You have your calendar, you have your list of games, you have your off days, which you can train, and then every time you play, you're getting XP. So if you pitch well, you get XP. If you bat well, if you like any play, you get XP. But if you fuck up, if you error, if you allow runs, you get negative points. So it's like, and the one thing that's really incredible, I haven't tried this much with like many games or even sports games, but like, and I know they do this under the code, or under like behind the scenes, but it's like it has a really cool dynamic difficulty option, and it tells you almost every game it'll tell you where your difficulty's at. So pitching is really easy. So I'm already pitching out on veteran difficulty naturally. Batting I'm so bad at, and I had to tweak my thing because the thing I don't know how to do, and like I'm also reading a book on Shohei Ohtani, and even Ohtani struggled with this once he got drafted to the Dodgers, or he signed with the Dodgers. Is like learning batting discipline. Like I'm so like all video games I've just been trained to like hit
swing
the ball
every time.
I swing at everything in balls, and I had to like change my batting visual
work the pitch count. Yeah,
so it's been really fun learning this, and it's like, oh my god, and now I'm getting a little better. I've been able to walk in runs and stuff by just like not swinging everything, hitting the 4 balls, and then walking. And it's like, oh my god. But yeah, the more time I'm spending just like observing baseball, it's like so fast. It's funny. There's a Babe Ruth quote. He says, the only real game is baseball. Of course, this was said 50 years before Pac-Man, whatever. But like, so I've been watching Ken Burns baseball. Right now I'm into the 50s.
Oh, yes.
Also learning about the Brooklyn Dodgers, which like, there's a Jackie Robinson statue at Dodger Stadium. And it's like, oh yeah, I didn't realize like,
we need to get you into John Boy's videos. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, yeah.
Is like John Boy's who works over at, why am I blanking on the name of their new? So it used to be SB Nation. They were what the fuck is the name of the new thing? I'm a member on Patreon and everything. This is terrible. Secret Base, they're called now. SB, Secret Base. They do basically like sports coverage, but like features, documentaries, stuff like that. John Boy's is he uses like Google Earth. I think I've mentioned this before. He uses like Google Earth, but not a globe. He makes like these crazy like infinite stat projection things, and he uses, because he can't show like game footage of the sports or anything. And he'll basically like the series he's doing at the moment is all about rushing the mound. So it's like a 6-episode documentary series about the history of people rushing the mound. And so he went through like all of baseball history, like stat broke down when it happened, why it happened, because it doesn't happen anymore. It's like hardly anyone has like rushed a pitcher in like, I think there's been like one in the past decade or something, but it used to happen like all the fucking time. So it's all the stories of like why it happened, when it happened, and it's so funny. Like he is absolutely amazing. But his the rushing the man one at the moment is brilliant. But that's how I got into, like, I used to go to Oakland games and stuff, but that's how I got into, like, that's what made me fell in love with baseball, was watching some of his videos. He did an Ichiro documentary, or no, he did a Seattle Mariners documentary series, basically the entire history of the Mariners. And there's a couple of episodes about Ichiro in there, and just like, now I get it. Now I'm like, why people love that guy and love the, you know, why there's so many Japanese fans and all this stuff. Yeah, I'll send you an easy to digest one and see if you like it, but they're so good, and it's all about that just weird specific history.
Yeah, and then the, like, specifically talking about the Japanese fandom, I like in my book I'm reading, there's a stat that's like 80% of Japanese tourists that come to California or come to Los Angeles go to Dodger Stadium, even in the off days. Like, it's so funny, when Ohtani was working for the Angels, he brought so much attendance there. Now no one goes to Angel games. They're so like, and that's why I got a free ticket. They're, you know, they literally give tickets away. And it's so funny. My friend works for the military, and I asked him, like, oh, can you get like free tickets to Dodger games? What's the military thing? And he looked on his site, and it's like, yeah, I can get 500. There's 500 free tickets to Angel games, only 4 available Dodger tickets, and you have to lottery for them. So it's like the shift of demand. But like, I was so charmed by going to Dodger Stadium because there's like Japanese signage. There's a food stall that sells like food for Japanese, in American tourists, but like kind of tailored for the Japanese clientele. And it's like, I could like overhear, like, there's so many Japanese people here. It's like, oh my God, like, it's like, oh, it kind of blends my two passions of like going to wrestling shows in Japan. Right. But it's like, oh, it's the same vibe of like going to Cork and Hall. Like, it's that same, like, I get so warm when I'm going to a wrestling show in Japan. It's like, oh, that same feeling is going to a baseball game. It's so fun. And like, again, like, I've been so, you know, weird to say hyper specialized. Like, for 30 years, all I cared about was like movies and video games. And I was so fucking like, just didn't care about
wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so it's been fun, like, branching into new things just to like, keep myself alive, keep fucking doing stuff, because I'm so isolated. But the really cool thing, I'm sure it's the same thing as like church or whatever, but it's like, oh, going to a Dodger game on Sunday, everyone's wearing the same uniform. Yeah. It's also super easy and welcoming to get into your local team when they're the best, like one of the best teams in the league, and they might secure a dynasty this year. So it's like okay, it's making it easy for me. But like, and then Ohtani's star power is something I'm just like, again, that's the other thing too. Is like, we have like a Michael Jordan, a Babe Ruth, like a once in a century talent, and it's so funny. Just like that's the thing I realized. Like, people will travel from Japan just to go to an Ohtani game. Yeah. Like in Little Tokyo, there's a bookstore, and when you walk in, there's a Japanese book for Japanese tourists, and you open it, and it's like, here's your 3-day Dodger itinerary. Day 1, go to In-N-Out, Ohtani's favorite restaurant, and like, it's all in Japanese, and it's like, oh, it's such a big deal. Whereas I can just drive an hour up and go to Dodger Stadium, the same stadium that's been there since the 60s. So as I've been like going through the history, like, I have a friend told me, my friend Dominique, who's in the pinball video as like a, you know, she was at Dodger Stadium when the Rodney King riots broke out, and they had to cancel the game and tell everyone to go home. So it's like, you go into any baseball stadium, it's like, there's been so much history, but like, the game hasn't changed. Although in 2022, in order to secure Ohtani and make it easier for him to sign, they patched baseball. It's called the Ohtani rule, which like they never changed stuff. But like, so it's just so fun diving into this. Like, this is so fucking fascinating. It's so much
ridiculous.
Stuff.
Yeah, you would have loved living in Oakland when the A's were there, because I used to get tickets for like 15 quid. God. Like behind first base. It was just depressing.
And so I think Jeremy's asking what the Ohtani rule is. Yeah. So the whole thing with Ohtani, and this is also why like my favorite Japanese team's the Nippon Ham Fighters, which I like kind of picked them before I knew Ohtani used to work for them. But so Ohtani was like immediately, it's happening right now, the Koshien Festival. Every summer, it's like the 18,000 high school baseball teams will compete, and the top teams compete. Ohtani was the breakout MVP one year, and Ohtani was like he doesn't really have an ego, but maybe in high school, he was like, I'm going to go straight to MLB. I don't need to play in Japan. And the Hokkaido Ham Fighters are like, wait. If you work for us, we'll let you pitch and bat. We'll train you in both. And like, now we're in the age of what they call it, like stats tracking, whatever. Like, baseball shifted where it's so hyper analytics. They literally have Doppler radar in the fucking arena to track balls and like all this stuff. And so everything is so specialized. Like, no, you're not going to do it. That's a waste of time. Ohtani was such a unique freak that they're like, hey, work for the Ham Fighters. We will develop you as a pitcher and a batter, and then go to the MLB, do whatever. And so he did that for like 7 years, MVP. The last time the Ham Fighters won the Japan World Series was back in 2016 when Ohtani still worked there. And so he came to the MLB, and then there's all these different divisions. One of the divisions, the one that the Angels are, had like a rule that basically allowed, like, you can be a hitter, you can be a designated hitter and a pitcher. The universal thing before the Ohtani rule was like, if you are the designated hitter and also a pitcher. Once you're taken out of the pitching rotation because you're exhausted, you can no longer bat for the team. They patched the Ohtani rule. That's like if Ohtani wants to be the opening pitcher and stop pitching, you can remain as the designated hitter. So they had to insert that rule so that Ohtani would be eligible to work for other teams because he was like such a star player, also so value the MLB, getting people into the sport that it's like, okay, well, we'll change the rule so that Ohtani still wants to work in our not go back to Japan or whatever. So it's literally called the Ohtani rule, where it's like that's how much of a fucking thing he had. And then once his contract was up, like 5 teams volleyed for him, like Toronto. But Dodgers offered him, $700 million, 10-year contract, like the biggest sports contract in history. And it's just like this guy's getting paid $700 million to work up the freeway. It's like I should go see him. So yeah. So now
have you caught up on all the sports betting stuff with his buddy?
It's covered in the book too. And I was like,
cool.
yeah. But
when that was happening, that was like a nightmare for MLB because they were like, oh shit! Like if he ends up getting caught on sports betting, then like we have to ban him for like several years, and then I guess his I guess not his manager, his
translator,
his interpreter since like starting at the Angels was doing sport, and even the MLB. This goes back to like the 1917 with like the Black Sox betting scandals, where like 17 people were in to like fix the World Series, and they banned 17 players for life back in 1917. So since 1917, 100 years ago, it was like, or 110 years ago, no player within the MLB can bet within the MLB. Like that's you can bet on other sports.
Any sport is the case as well. Same in basketball, same in soccer, and then they catch people doing it, and like some Italian referee in soccer, and like all this sort of stuff.
And so Ohtani just started his first season for the Dodgers. They're playing in South Korea, funny enough, against the Padres. Like he's trying to just focus on the game. The story goes out, and the interpreter, because he was an interpreter, was handling Ohtani's accounts, but he was able to call banks and be like, yes, and there's leaked reporting. So listen, hi, yes, this is Shohei Ohtani. I'm trying to sign into my account. Okay, Mr. Ohtani, how much do you need? Oh, $7 million? Yes, sir. It's like how they just like, yeah. So he was addicted to sports betting. There was like a stat, like in a single day, he would like win $160,000 on bets, and then in the same day lose $200,000.
Yeah.
So it was like $17 million vanished from Ohtani's accounts because the interpreter said he was Ohtani and shifted it. Again, Ohtani makes like $300 million per year on endorsements. So it's like he doesn't. So the interpreter was handling all this shit, and then
I just love that. Like this is a very, very easy story to immediately cast doubt on and go, this guy took the fall because Ohtani was fucking doing sports betting and shit. Like I'm sure there's evidence. I've never followed up on this. I do not. I'm not saying this is the conspiracy, but like if Ohtani was doing this, and you managed to like get this guy to take the fall, that would be very, 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 very smart.
I don't follow baseball super closely, but I read an interview about this specific incident, like in sometime in the last year, and there was an interview with like it was like a big investigative journalism report, but embedded in there was an interview with some guy who had was like a bookie that had dealt with Ohtani's interpreter in the midst of all this, and there was a quote that stuck with me where he was like, I'm like basically the guy was like, I'm like the most degenerate gambler that I know, and this guy makes me look like a fucking amateur. Like he was like, you got your gamblers and like all they think about is fucking betting, and they're at home, having dinner with their family, and all they're thinking about is betting. And they're like, this guy was like
he's just
100 times worse than the worst guy I've ever known. Like this guy, it was all day, all night. He like didn't sleep. He would just fucking.
Well, there goes my conspiracy theory out the window. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, unless this guy was taking the fall for the fall guy. There's
like,
maybe there's layers to the
the
conspiracy.
biggest sicko in the world is my guy.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Frank, thanks for updating us on the world of baseball. You're going to a game in Japan, presumably?
Yeah, so now I'm going to 2 games after being like, I got to go to more. So we use a ticket reseller. This is a ticket reseller site that's only for Japanese residents, but my friend who lives in Japan got the tickets for us. So we're also going to an Osaka Henshin Tigers game, which is the most passionate fans in the world. So yeah,
they do this?
I don't know. They have like the flags and trumpets, and I've been capturing footage on my phone and thinking long term how to combine it and figure stuff out. But yeah, I'm very fired up. And then, I'm still hooked on MLB. My dream is to be alongside Otani and Mookie Betts and everyone. And I'll keep playing MLB The Show. And it is funny to also note the game is very like, hey, your player kind of sucks. You want to buy some tokens in our in-game item shop to level up? I'm like, no.
You want to buy some fucking tokens? Inject them straight into your arm, buddy.
Right. So Otani, worked 6 years on the Ham Fighters, 6 years for the Angels before being where he is now. So I will grind 12 years in the shitty AA team before I make it, before I spend in-game tokens. But
who's your team? Who are you with?
So right now, the Dodgers like farm league team. So
okay, you haven't played the Bowie Bay Sox, have you? Or what are they called now? They're the Chesapeake Bay Sox.
Yeah, it's I think specific. I forget the exact term. In my head I just say it's the Dodgers, but it's the Tollers or I don't know, the Lost. It's something like that. But it's the
There's
same.
some really cool AA named teams.
Yes.
There's like the Bakersfield Train Robbers is one.
Yeah, I used to go to a bunch of Portland Sea Dogs games.
Sea Dogs.
The Lowell Spinners I used to go see a lot.
Yeah, we went through these before, didn't we? I feel like we went through some of the.
We went through
is
Japanese
it AA or
baseball teams.
Triple A? Oh no, this was the Pecos League, the Pecos League. It was an independent baseball one. That's where the Bakersfield fucking train robbers, the Dublin Leprechauns. You've got to be kidding me. The Martinez Sturgeons. Yes, this is like NorCal. The San Rafael Pacifics. Alpine Cowboys. Yeah, Dublin Leprechauns is pretty funny.
This might be the one. The Amarillo Sod Poodles.
Excuse me.
A nickname of the Saudis. SOD.
The Saudis.
Yeah.
Is that they're investing their private equity fund?
Confused with the Saudis.
The Saudis. Yeah, I got a meeting with the Saudis, and then these fucking guys turn up. Hey man,
you think you're doing business with like billionaire oil tycoons, and it's just minor league baseball?
Bunch of guys from Jenner. Yeah.
I think a sod poodle might be a prairie dog.
Water dog, would you call it? Because Madra Ishka is what you call a seal in Irish, which literally means water dog. So I'm wondering, would a water dog be a seal? What's their logo?
The Portland Sea Dogs have a seal.
Or sea dog, sorry, yeah, it's a seal, is it? Okay, yeah. There you go. It is funny that people just call seals sea dogs across, different countries and stuff, because that's basically
they're quite dog-like. Yeah, undeniable.
Love it. Frank, we'll be back to you in a second to talk about some indie game stuff. I'm going to quickly get through two of mine. I played some Stars Reach. So Raf Koster, we had two videos on him, one sort of looking back on the Jedi problem in Star Wars Galaxies. Jeremy put these two videos together. Super cool. The second one was kind of more of a musings on the world of online games and stuff like that, and the different ways MMOs could be if you sort of broke outside of the World of Warcraft formula, if you will. Stars Reach is basically his attempt, or his team's attempt, Playable Worlds attempt to sort of create a more of a sandbox, I guess, MMO. It's in early access. It is $30 at the moment for the Founders Pack, which is I guess also just the standard version at this stage, I think. Oh no, Founders Edition. I don't know. There's a bunch of editions, but you can buy it for $30. You can buy it for $80 if you're a crazy person. So I've played not too much, maybe 7-8 hours of Stars Reach. The reviews on Steam at the moment are mixed. There's 273 of them, and it's very easy to understand why. So I will say, how do I sum this up? So Stars Reach is I would say the opening couple of hours of it are a pretty bad first impression. It looks and feels like an old game. Derogatory. Like the character creator is super basic. The intro is cheap looking, the lack of voice acting in certain areas, even the way the character moves and stuff, it just feels kind of, I don't know, cheap and unfinished, like way too early access. And that might have been the case, because it does feel like a type of game that just fundamentally is very, very unpolished at the moment. I will say the further I've gotten in, the more you get out of the sort of, here are the basic style quests you can do, and here is the possibility space that exists in this game. I feel like this is a game that in about 2 months' time, kind of like Kenshi or something, in about 2 months' time, the real ones, the sickos, will figure out the sort of within the sandbox environment of what this thing is, may figure out here are some amazing things that are happening in this game. Kind of, it seems like it has a very high ceiling. I don't know if that is the case, but like games like Dwarf Fortress and CUD, right, where like you're not immediately having fun in these games. Like it's more longitudinal than that. That's the vibe I'm getting. I've been checking back on the reviews on Steam, and there seems to be a lot of that picking up. The game had way more negative reviews for the first 3 days, and it seems to have sort of turned. I think fundamentally the game just does not run well or feel modern in a way that's just gonna, some people are not going to be happy with it all. If I went into this like having not spent the past couple of years playing all these chintzy, you know, single dev games on Steam, I'd probably feel the same way if I was buying an MMO for 30 fucking quid. I'd probably be like, what is this? This is like so busted. Like Windrose is like really polished, and that's an early access, and that's an online sandboxy game. This feels, you know, this feels like City of Heroes or something. It's so rudimentary in many ways. But yeah, I'm interested. So it seems to me like it came out too early, perhaps, but I am interested to see kind of how much they're able to clean up some of that stuff, and also if this creates sort of a playground for people to do some really interesting stuff.
Yeah, I hope it turns out good. It's also it's a very tough thing to do early access and have a good onboarding experience, because that is, I mean, a million devs have told us this over the years that that by the time that like the onboarding is sort of like one of the final things you do in the last like 20% of making a game.
Make your first level last, right? Isn't that what
they say? Because you have to like understand, especially for like tutorialization, the most elegant tutorialization is made after you fully understand the game and how people will interface with it. And so in many ways, an early access game that is like actually early access, like we have a lot more work to do, is like you really shouldn't have like an ironed out tutorial if you're still figuring out elements of the game. But it is something you obviously need for practical purposes to get people into your game. So yeah, it's an unenviable position to be making a game that is like this grand in scope and releasing it early access and then being like, all right, how do we make like an intro that will make a splash to this game that isn't done yet?
Yeah.
It's a inherently difficult thing to do.
And from a production perspective, you're just going to end up redoing it anyway. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
Yeah, it's like how much effort can you pour into like the effort that will potentially be lost, or at least like maybe a majority of it or whatever, presumably. Just to have that sort of onboarding experience. I feel like that would be like at least like a month of like many very highly skilled people polishing this thing that is kind of like a temporary thing to be slept off eventually.
Yeah, big time. So yeah, caveat emptor, but if you're interested, check it out. And I'm definitely very curious on how, you know, how this develops over the next couple of months. I've had similar feelings with Starseeker, the new Astroneer game. That also had a rough start as well, and it was another game that I played maybe 4 or 5 hours of. Really enjoyed aspects of it. It's way more polished. Like it is orders of magnitude more polished than Stars Reach. It actually has a pretty strong intro tutorial, I think, especially comparatively to that. But it's a different. I probably enjoying it as much as I enjoyed Astroneer, but I was never a 50, 100 hour Astroneer player. I played like 20 something hours of that game and felt like I'd gotten enough out of it and moved on. And obviously that game struck a chord with so many people. But Starseeker seems to be struggling a bit to get that sort of what is it like to break through that sort of mainstream crack. But yeah, what is it? A lot of people say you get, you know, not everyone is Supergiant. Most studios get one big beat, and it's either your early access or your 1.0. So hopefully the folks, our friends over at Systemera, owned by Devolver Digital these days, are able to trim up some of that stuff. Also, these games, both Starseeker and this, incredibly difficult to make a game like that without people playing it. It's like it's like making a theme park and then being like, oh, hope it's fun.
Yeah, that's an interesting part of the WoW Diary, that book that I mentioned a few weeks ago, is talking the trajectory from internal to like just internal testing, and then like the friends and family testing, and then the sort of like closed alpha. There are these sort of like layers of shells as you scope up in a game like this, and there are things you just won't know until thousands of people play your game. and thousands of people for like a longitudinal duration. Like you can't just have 1,000 people come for 3 hours and play it. A game like Stars Reach.
Yeah, Stars Reach, exactly. Yeah, you just figured out how to fucking jump. Or use
in a game
game
where you're building like player cities and like tunneling for resources and colonizing a planet, you can't really just like run a closed alpha for one day and get a lot of data.
Colonialism takes time, man.
Yeah, for sure.
You got to get the Bene Gesserits to, fucking poison the will of the locals, and you got to kill some emperors and sandworms.
That's true. A lot of people talk shit on colonialism, but they have not acknowledged how much damn work it is. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you don't like colonialism? What have you done today? You're still in your fucking pajamas, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
There's like a hustle culture podcast guy from like the 1600s.
Exactly.
And, he's talking about going to like islands and subjugating people. Actually, wait, can I tangent so hard for like 60 seconds? That's something I read about last night.
Is it about colonialism?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, let's go. That's why we're all here.
After the fall of the Paris Commune, a bunch of the communards were arrested, and many of them were deported.
One of my favorite words in the
communards. It is a
because
great
it kind of
word.
Sounds like you're calling someone a slur.
Yes, it does sound very derogatory.
Yeah. I think I first heard it in Disco Elysium, actually.
What does it mean?
The communards were like communist, basically like a faction of people within the revolutionary like Paris Commune era, like French communists.
What's the word? It's like a group. What do you call a group word? The collective noun for a specific type of communist.
Yeah, a conflagration of arsonists or a murder of crows. So a bunch of the communards were arrested after the Paris Commune was like infiltrated by the military, and then many of them were deported to a penal colony in New Caledonia.
Oh boy.
In New Caledonia, there were obviously like an indigenous population there who had to contend with French colonialism. But the really interesting detail of the story is you have all of these people who are like, French communists, presumably quite like forward thinking and progressive, or at least they, have envisioned themselves that way. And then they go to this place against their will. And many of them were used to subjugate the indigenous population. But one woman in particular, I think her name was
Tchia, by the way, a game developed by New Caledonians, but non-indigenous French New Caledonians. I don't know if there's I don't know. Don't cancel me on my lack of knowledge of New Caledonian race
culture.
Yeah.
There was I think they're called the Canark, I think was one of the indigenous populations. I don't know enough about New Caledonia.
Sounds like one of the races in that lantern of the Laughless Saint.
It does.
Canark.
It does. But I was reading about Louise Michel, one of this sort of prominent woman in the Paris Commune. And what I thought was interesting about her is that all of these like forward-thinking French communists go to New Caledonia and are kind of like, yeah, all fucking people are like valid, and we need to like everyone needs an opportunity, and there's basic human rights. And they get there, they're like, yeah, except these fucking Canarks over here.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Look at these fucking. But isn't that liberalism? Like, isn't that like the neoliberal project is inherently about, giving liberty to people or forcing liberty? You know what I mean? Or sort of modern ideologies about the way countries should be run, and it's like taming the savages, right? It just comes with a smile instead of a scowl.
Yeah, it's branding that as like a gift or something.
Exactly.
But Louise Michel, one of these prominent figures from the Paris Commune, was like one of the only people who arrived and took an interest in the local indigenous population and like learned their language and like documented their ways and stuff. I just thought that was like, that's a fucking forward thinking person. Is the most forward thinking people around you are like, oh yeah, we're like the cutting edge. But then they get there, they're just like, oh well, they're doing the same thing that they're accusing these like tyrannical forces of doing to them. Right. They're just shit rolling downhill on this population. Yeah. And I thought that was so fucking cool that this woman got there and was like, these people are just like us and they're equally valuable. A thing that seems so obvious, but like was overlooked by almost everyone who had gone to New Caledonia because of sort of attitudes of the time. Yeah,
and like you get penal colony to the other side of the world in the South Pacific, then maybe it puts you in a position to see how much your morals really mean to you. Like,
yes,
because you're probably scared and worried and out of your power structure, and you're tempted by this new power structure. It's like that book I think I mentioned before, How the Irish Turned White, which is about Irish immigrants coming to America and how they sort of slowly over a couple of generations adopted white supremacy at the exact same time that over in Ireland we were fighting against the English. And it's like, these are literally the same people, like split in time at this very particular moment during An Gortamora, the potato famine. And then the same people with this, probably with the same moral integrity, went in completely different directions because of their material conditions. And like, that's what it's all about. Like, that's why class solidarity is so important. But you can see, it's a great example of like all of these forward thinking communists. And then suddenly they're put in a position where they can't get their food, or they're scared at nighttime. And
yeah, it's easy to be like, the power should be distributed equally amongst everyone when you are the underdog.
Exactly.
But suddenly a new underdog class is introduced, and it's like, well, we need to oppress these people because they don't know, like, they're not like communists like us or whatever. But the last detail of the story that I thought was interesting is that Louise Michel also famously carried a black, after I guess she was given amnesty, or I don't know if that's the right term, but moved back to France eventually and continued to be politically active, and became an anarchist, and popularized the black flag as a symbol for the anarchists by carrying, by tying a plain black piece of cloth to a pole and carrying it as a flag. I don't think she invented the black flag. I think she popularized it.
Right.
But
like an anti-flag.
Yeah. That's fucking crazy, because the black, I mean, that's like, that's like the iconic symbol of anarchism. And,
man, those French, they're up to it. Okay, hot take. Just going to put it out there. New Caledonia. If I'm going to be sent off somewhere, it doesn't seem that bad.
I don't know enough about New Caledonia to say.
Beautiful. It's South Pacific Islands, like, I don't know, a few hundred miles east of Australia. I learned this because there was a time when we were maybe going to do a documentary on Techea. They actually invited us to go to New Caledonia to film, but I couldn't, I think, because my daughter was too young and I couldn't leave for 3 weeks. And I remember you couldn't either because it was during COVID and it was all this. It was just, the whole thing was kind of, they were very, very kind. And also we were like, well, we have to pay for this if we do it, and yada, yada, yada. But it was like a 3-week trip, I think, of like going through the like, going on hiking through the brush and meeting people and meeting locals and all that stuff.
I had never heard of New Caledonia before.
I don't think I had either. I'd heard of like American Samoa. Like, I mean, there's so many countries down there, like Tahiti, obviously, things like that. But I'd never heard of. Yeah,
it's a very interesting place. So if you
like, why the fuck did the French own that? That is about as far from France as you can get. Like, that's taking the piss. That's like I don't want to get into the Falklands, but like, fuck off. Like, I think maybe there were English people there before they were Argentine. I don't know. It's complicated, but like, colonists, like, you got an island off your country. Fair enough. Maybe the Isle of Man should be is part of the Great Britain. I get it. But like, why the fuck is Gibraltar? Like, it's fucking nowhere. It's like it's like a tiny 1 mile stretch of land at the south of Spain. Why is New Caledonia? I mean, we went to Tahiti for our honeymoon. So like 10 years ago, and there was like French election posters up on the wall. I was like, what? Oh yeah, it's all by France. It was like Marie Le Pen's fucking scowling face looking at me as we exited the fucking airport. And you're like, God, this is weird.
It is very weird.
I mean, America taking over Hawaii is bad. Like, that's.
Oh yeah, it's arguably worse because we kind of just like, instead of there was no reckoning point where we were like, we got to give Hawaii back. We're just like, no, we've got to fucking, if we build enough hotels, no one will notice that we've done colonialism there.
I will give you statehood, and then the Puerto Ricans are like, hey, what about us?
Yeah. Sorry. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's like you either become a state or you're just like functionally kind of a vassal state of some sort.
Hey man, 10 years time, it'll be Cuba, it'll be Greenland. Well, the American project. Colonialism is back, folks. Can't even stop Iranians from bombing ships. Anyway, this is not our political podcast. That was a very good sidebar though. Thank you.
Yeah, I couldn't sleep last night because I was reading about this. I thought it was so fascinating.
Love it. We got 2 more games to get to and then some emails. This is a long ass podcast. Frank Howley, tell us a little bit about Cicadamata. Am I saying it right?
Yeah, Cicadamata. This is very much kind of like Neon White, but it's a sole developer. Incredible visual style. Like,
wow.
I looked at their Twitter and they kept like throughout years being like, Marathon looks great, Marathon looks great, and then their game is like, holy fuck, this is awesome.
You're right.
It's like a PS. It looks like a PS1 Marathon. It's incredible, and like. Yeah, so the gameplay loop is, again, much like Neon White, like first-person platform, speedrunning, leaderboard type game. You're going through a level, and you've got like 5 little like golden icons to collect, and then get to your exit. Also kind of like Jumping Flash, which is like giant vertical platforming, or even honestly, like, it's weird to say, but it's kind of like a fucked up Mario 64. Like, nice. It's just so, and as you're sprinting towards stuff, you're shooting red enemies as they're flying. There's some enemies, if you shoot, you'll like zip line to them. So it's like, I'm just playing the level once and enjoying it, but if you want to be a speed freak with it, you can. But like, again, the UI stuff is so tremendous. It looks like your screen's being hacked when you boot it up. There's even an achievement called Cold Storage in reference to Wipeout.
Oh, you're kidding me.
It has that
cool.
like design aesthetic. So but I played like not that much about it, but I played enough. I was like, oh yeah, this is really cool. So
I'm gonna check this out. This looks
super
so cool. Holy shit.
Yeah, Cicadamata.
Cicadamata, it's all C's though, right? Cicadamata.
Yes.
It's made by Flower Garden, who have an emoji in their name on Steam, which I do appreciate. This game is only $9 at the moment, $10 full price. It's actually, and there is a bundle with Funny Raccoon Game. So whenever I see a game bundled with a game that I really respect, so it always like pushes me over the edge. I'm like, oh, they're fucking cool. It's like a recommendation from a friend. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, okay, I'm gonna play that game. And also there's one with Goblin America. So I think it's in good company. That's cool. Thanks for that, Frank. That looks awesome. I'm going to quickly mention one as well. It just goes to show how many amazing games we've been playing recently. Sorry, Jeremy, we will get to you on Anno as well.
It's all right.
I know so many amazing games that come out that this game is absolutely fantastic, and I'm only mentioning it an hour and 35 into this podcast. Sovereign Tower. I don't know if did Jesse maybe mention this in an old rec video. I'm not quite sure. There was a demo at one stage, but I can't remember. But this game has come out. It's $20, currently overwhelmingly positive on Steam with over 1,000 reviews. It came out on August 6th. This game is fantastic. So it is a game where you are, first of all, beautiful art, fantastic voice acting. It is a game where you are basically a sovereign, a king in charge of an ever-growing, if you play the game right, kingdom, who basically, you know, like those scenes in Game of Thrones where like somebody like Daenerys sits down on a chair and people come in and ask for things. It's the game. You have a bunch of knights that you recruit. There is one phase where people come in, they ask you for things. You have to use your resources you've accumulated throughout previous missions, previous days, special items and things that you have and whatnot, and in your stats to basically answer their questions and then promise them a certain solution to the problem. Then it goes to the next phase, which is you allocating your knights. You're sending them out on missions. It's like XCOM or something almost, right? Where you're like, okay, who do we need for this one? Oh, this character is really good, got good strength. This one's charismatic. This one, we need to like talk to some baker about making the bread cheaper over here, and we need to kill a wyvern over here, and we need to do this over here. And then there are these, there is this sort of force, let's say, that every once in a while, like in 8 days' time, they're going to come back, and by then you need to have a certain amount of points or a certain amount of gold or a certain amount of something to make sure that they shag off again. And so what you end up doing is each day in this game is you talking to a bunch of people, assigning their problems, and then there is like almost sort of Hades style, like, maybe Persona style sort of friendship stuff as well. But you're checking in with certain people. There's romance options with some of the people who work in your castle or your knights. You're adding new rooms to the castle. The castle itself is a character that you can flirt with. It's like there's so many cool things going on. The game looks great. The soundtrack's beautiful. And for a game that is essentially just you talking to people, I don't feel, there's some games where it feels like you're playing a menu, where you're just like hitting the buttons and then this game feels so alive with animation and transitions and the art style. It's just, I don't know what this art style is, but people figured out how to make games that look beautiful with desaturated colors. And I don't know who the fuck figured it out. It's Mobius-esque, I guess, in the way that they do the outlines on some of the art in the game. But yeah, it looks and sounds fantastic. And then there's this little thing they have, which is really, really smart. And it reminds me of that game. I always forget the name of it. The isometric game made by that crowd that aren't around anymore, that had the save scum bubble thing where you could basically make a quick save, but it was a diegetic quick save within the game. Curse of the something. What the fuck was that game called?
Was it the Pyro one?
No, it was made by the Desperados people. They're called Mini or something.
Oh, okay.
Desperados 3. I'll figure it out. We'll go Desperados 3 into Steam. That's made by... Everyone's screaming at their podcast. Mini Games, who shut down, and the
Shadow
game that they
Gambit
made before,
or something?
Shadow Gambit. Thank you very much. Shadow Gambit, the Cursed Crew. This game has a demon that lives in the castle. And you can go down and talk to the demon. And the demon's like, hey, you want to go back a couple of days? Kind of fucked up on that last one, huh? Made a bad choice there. Let's go back a couple of days. And you're like, no, I'm not going to use you. Of course I'm not going to use you. Go away, demon. Be gone. Be gone, fell beast. And then you make a couple of mistakes. You're like, there's that demon downstairs. Maybe it ain't so bad. Which is very cool. It's like a very interesting narrative, like moral. Like, what game do you like? I'm playing that fucking laughing. What is it called?
Laughless Saint.
The Lantern of the Laughless Saint. I'm quick saving and save scumming like a motherfucker in that game every 2 seconds. And then this game comes along, and then suddenly it's like making me feel like my righteous indignation is getting in the way of my saving.
Yeah, that's cool. It's like it's adding like a narrative and moral dimension to, like, it's making it naughty to quick save in some capacity instead of most of the time when you do it through a menu. It's almost like when you do something through a menu, the developer doesn't see you do it or something. Like it's like you can get away with it. It's invisible. But when it's diegetically acknowledged, it's like the developer is almost, you're being watched when you're doing it and judged.
It's like canceling a subscription. If you can do it via email, easy. If you got to call somebody, looks like I'm subscribed to that for the next few years.
Are there any negative repercussions or anything if you use it, or it's just like all in your head?
I would love to answer that question, no caps, but it's probably best if I don't.
Okay.
So the answer is beware. It's really cool. Like, the game, there's a lot of like, it's just so smart because it starts out and like stuff's kind of hard, kind of easy, and then you have a couple of good days, and then the game goes, all right, motherfucker, let's this is, you've watched enough fantasy, you've read enough fantasy, that it's about to get real. Suddenly you're not going to have all the nights you need for what you need to do, and you're going to have to make some tough calls. But yeah, the writing's fantastic. It's did I say voice acting? I don't think there is voice acting. I could be wrong. I don't think there is voice acting. I meant to say the voice acting in Lantern of the Laughless Saint, I think, is fantastic. They're really good. But the writing in this one, in Sovereign Tower, is fantastic. So, yeah, Sovereign Tower, I cannot recommend it highly enough. We're probably going to do an indie rec or something around it. It's really, really cool. I'll make sure to not forget to put Steam links in the podcast this week. Also, there's a demo of it available on Steam as well, so go check that out. All right, last game we have time for this week is it's a classic. And let me tell you, there are game series that sometimes people ask us to do documentaries on, and I forget these series even exist, and then somebody mentions the word, and I get flooded with just the deep history of these games that I know absolutely nothing about. And one of those words is Anno. Jeremy Jane.
I've been playing Anno 1404, one of the Anno games, which are very confusingly numbered and named.
Correct.
I was not sure which ones came out. I thought 1404 would be like older because it's like an older year, but then it's like 3D, and then like some of the later years are like 2D. I had no fucking idea what was going on.
I think it is the 5th Anno game.
That sounds right to me. I've never played any of these games because the versions that are on Steam are much reviled because they have
4th Anno game. Sorry. Also, No Cap's
okay.
cat has something to say about this, I think.
You could hear her.
Yeah.
I'll
Very
mute
cute.
myself.
Is she outside the door?
She's outside the door. She's locked out.
Aw.
Like, this podcast is too long. Sorry, Jerry.
She's a big Anno fan. It's yeah, I kind of didn't know what these games were, and I had not played them because the versions on Steam have DRM in them, so you have to log into the like Ubisoft launcher or whatever. And I was like, I'm never fucking doing that. I guess I'll never play these games. But the GOG version obviously is DRM free, so I did a bunch of research. I read a bunch of Reddit threads where people argue about what the best Anno game is, and 1404 seemed like a good one. And it's fucking great. It's so good. I played like 8 hours of it this week. And it's like, it's weird. I wasn't sure exactly what it was. When you see screenshots of these games, it's like the most beautiful, like isometric, almost like CRPG looking towns and stuff.
Right.
And so I mean, I knew it was like a kind of like an RTS or something, like a strategy game of some sort. But genre-wise, these games are so fascinating. They're kind of like, they're not like anything I've played before. And caveat, I've played one game of Anno, and I've played 8 hours in one game. So like,
Okay, wow.
what I'm about to explain may be a very limited perspective on this series. I'm sure it is. But like, you basically kind of just go out and this is like the free mode. There's like a campaign and stuff as well, but I never fuck with that stuff in games like this. But you kind of just like go out and with your boat, you like settle an island and just like build industry there. You build like houses and a marketplace.
Oh, it's Colonialism, the game.
It is literally Colonialism, the game. In fact, the first place I settled, because I didn't know the rules of the game, was an island that someone was already on. And the first thing that happened was I built a house in a marketplace there, and the guy was like, "What the fuck are you doing on my island?" And I was like, "Oh,
Squatters' rights."
Yeah, I didn't really like I just didn't really consider that you'd be pissed about this. I thought we were all just hanging out. But
it's free real estate.
It's free real estate. But you kind of just like build towns, and then the great like joyful part of this that I was kind of ignorant to is I thought this was more of a city builder, but what it actually is sort of a empire management trading simulator.
Economy.
So a huge part of what is cool about this game and what kept me going is that you find an island, you try to plant hemp there for sails and ropes and all this shit,
Yeah,
shirts,
sails and ropes, yeah.
Yeah, right a little on the side, blasted a few joints on the side. But then like you'll get to an island and you'll be like, I'll expand my hemp empire here, here.
Yeah.
And the soil's no good for hemp there. So all of a sudden I had like a cider island that was exporting cider to all of the other islands so that the people would be happy.
Where is this? Can I move to this fucking
it's a cider island?
Joints and cider. Just cider
the
island.
hemp and cider empire.
I grew up on fucking cider island.
Yeah, exactly. But then there's this whole like trade system where when you get multiple ships, there is a window where you can build trade macros. So it'll be like
lost me.
Place 1 and place 2. If you're at place 1, pick up these things and drop off these things. If you're at place 2, pick up these things and drop off these things. And so initially I was like carrying things back and forth, and then I found this menu, and it was like, by the end of it, I had like 4 ships, and like this ship goes here, and then it makes a stop over here because I have to drop off the hemp here for the shirts to get made, and then the cider has to go here so the people are happy. And it was just like, it was almost like Factorio or something, where it was like building this automated system of trade, which is very like satisfying and fun, and like sometimes you have to like intervene and adjust. But I was shocked how much this was just sort of a like building an automated empire mechanism and then like massaging it into optimal efficiency.
It's cool. Yeah,
it's fucking cool.
I feel like I need to like mess around with what it is. I might pick
really
a different Anno.
You should. I heard 1800 is really good. I didn't buy it because it was like $60.
So I'm guessing each of these is like, I knew they all had different years, but so Anno 1602 was the first one. Then there was 1503, then 1701. So it's kind of, what is it, like industrial age and like sort of like early enlightenment or something. And then 1404 is what you played. Then there's 2070, which apparently is like the climate change one. Then there's 2205, which came out next in 2015, which is the, I guess, super futuristic one. Then 1800.
Yes.
So was that Industrial Revolution? And then they went all the way back. Anno 117, also known as Anno Pax Romana. So there you go. It's about Rome, I guess.
That's cool.
That came out last year.
I didn't even know this one exists. I'll have to check out 117. I wonder if this has good reviews. 3.2 out of 5 on Steam. So maybe that could be because of the DRM shit though. I'll have to look into this one.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I just like I thought this game was gonna be like more like Crusader Kings or Age of Empire. Not that those two are similar, but somewhere in there.
In between, I thought the same. Yeah,
it kind of reminds me more of like Heroes of Might and Magic or something. Not with like not in combat at all. In fact, I've played this game 7 hours or so, and I've never seen combat.
Wow.
And there is combat. Like someone just declared war on me, and I just been like fucking smoking weed and drinking cider on my island. So they're like, I'm declaring war on you. And I was like, I don't even know who you are. I'm like too fucking faded.
You're too busy involved in economic warfare.
Yeah, for
which
sure.
Which is the ultimate warfare.
But then this lady rolled in and she was like, I'm going to declare war on you. So I had to ask for help from all my friends who had been flattering with gifts of bushels of cannabis, I guess.
And pints of cider.
So, I mean, who's mad at the guy that shows up with bushels of cannabis and a barrel of cider? That's the coolest guy.
Well, are you in a real place? Is this like the Earth map or is this just like random?
It's like...
Are you on New Caledonia?
I mean, it definitely is on the Earth, but it's not like a real place that I know of. I assume
there's all these savages on the island who don't speak French, so I have no idea where I am.
I don't deal with anyone outside of the Empire. I bet you the campaign is probably like this is like Trinidad and Tobago specifically or whatever. But I just played like a scenario map, so it's just probably a generated series of islands or whatever. Cool. But yeah, highly recommend it. And yeah, it's like the coolest thing. The last thing I'll say is that it's I think I don't know if there are other games like this. Like I think that it's like a genre. Like Anno feels to me like a genre that I didn't know existed because all of the things that I think are like the closest relative positions to compare it to are so structurally different. And so if you look at
City
this
Skylines is like, it's like got the city building, but it's like, it's not diplomatic or the economy stuff is somewhat limited. It's more about like lifestyle and things like that.
I was trying to pitch this game to a friend of mine and he's like, I don't really like games like that. And I was like, tell me what you think this game is like, because I bet it'll be something that is not even comparable. And he was like, yeah, I tried like Against the Storm and I didn't really like it. I was like, couldn't be more fucking different.
Right. I thought it was a 4X thing, whereas it sounds like it's one of the X's, but quite deep.
It's a big X, one big X. Yeah, but yeah, I think anyone who is interested in RTS or Grand Strategy or 4X, like I think there's something from all of these that is sort of blended together into a new type of flavor that I didn't know existed.
Hey, this is for you, Anno head. You're listening to this podcast. You're like, finally, they're talking about Anno. Send us an email, podcast@nocup.video. Let us know why you like these games, which are the best ones. Because I'd love to find out as well what's going on. And this is your one time. This is the one time we talked about Anno and No Club in 10 fucking years. So make it count. Make it count.
The one last thing I have to mention is that you can play this game with other people, and I've always
I'm out.
It's not a game with usually a game like this has like a pause button, a fast forward button, like a Sims thing. Where it's like 3 speeds and a pause. There's no big pause button in the corner. So like I'm not pausing. Like it's just running all the time.
Okay.
And it has this kind of like momentum to it. Yeah. It's like fun and exciting because it's like
cool.
You're juggling a lot of balls, and it's not that like the Empire falls apart if you're not juggling fast enough. It's that like there's like this nagging demon on my shoulder that's like, you could be a little more efficient if the hemp was moving a little faster. And I'm like, fuck, I just
Perhaps
need to
if you stopped getting high in your own supply, we'd be doing better.
I mean, you have to smoke so much hemp. There's so little THC in it.
Quality control's important.
Yeah. We don't have like there's no like weed genetics guy they haven't invented like the
weed QA department.
Yeah.
It's tough. They have to go home after like half a day's work, unfortunately. It's rough. Can't get the hours in. Anno 1404. All right. It took us 2 hours to get through all the games, which they are VHOLUME, The Lantern of the Laughless Saint, Sovereign Tower, Stars Reach, Anno 1404, MLB The Show 26, and Cicadamata, Cinco de Mayo. Play it today. But we do have some emails. Frank Halley.
Yeah, if people want to send us emails, please write to us podcast@noclip.video or in the patron-only Discord server in the podcast chat channel. Once again, that's Once again, that's podcast@noclip.video. Michael wrote in about gaming magazines. Hey, No Clip crew. This year for Father's Day, my wife got me a subscription for National Geographic magazine. My first issue arrived in August, and I took it with me on a recent camping trip. Something about reading a physical copy of Nat Geo on our campsite was incredible. That got me thinking, are video game magazines still as cool as I remember them being? The issue, I think, is that gaming news flies by so fast, then I remembered I can access digital versions through my library. Enter the August edition of Retro Gamer, a UK-based spin-off magazine of PC Gamer. This issue had a feature cover story about 40 years of Codemasters, a look back at Super Punch-Out, a breakdown of the best arcade ports to Sega Genesis or Master System, 2 mentions of Sensible Soccer, a feature on Perfect Dark, and so much more. I'll definitely be coming back for next month's issue, which is looking at the 35th anniversary of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Do any of you ever peruse current gaming magazines? And if so, what are your favorites?
Whenever I go home to Waterford, I go into the book center, which is where I used to get my magazines as a kid. And there always is either retro or sometimes they do like specials. Like they'll just put out a special one that they have on the shelves for like 3 months. And I picked up loads of those. There's an Amiga magazine. I forget the name of it. But there's a new Amiga magazine that I've gotten like 4 editions at different times I've been home, which is cool. Yeah, I love that. We could talk. You guys answer first. Maybe I'll talk about something we've been working on over here.
I haven't read a gaming magazine that came out after 2009, probably ever.
But you recently did on a video, actually.
Yes, but that's what I'm saying is I'll go back and read old magazines, but nothing. I don't think I've read a magazine that released after 2009. I read gaming magazines all the time, but they're from like 1996.
Where do you look them up? Like on archive.org or?
Yeah, archive.org has a insane breadth of different magazines that have been scanned, and insane. Like you can see the stippling on Diablo's body.
I think Lemon Amiga or one of them has a bunch of. There's a couple of Amiga websites that have big databases of old magazines. I'm working on a documentary about an Amiga magazine at the moment. Actually, it's been one I've wanted to do for years, and finally find the time where I'm in pre-production on it. Yeah, you're a big magazine head, Frank.
I mean, back in the day, I had so many subscriptions. The same thing, like Jeremy, like it's so fun, like using archival, like going through the archives of stuff. But like in terms of contemporary stuff, like I'll browse like the Japanese stores, like Famitsu is still a regular magazine. Like there'll be covers I'll buy just because it looks cool, but like I can't read the articles. But in terms of just PC Gamer as an outlet, like I follow their Twitter, like they're excellent, like news organization, but yeah, I don't read any physical gaming magazines, but like the retro gaming magazine sounds incredible. Like that's really, really cool.
We've been toying around with the idea because we have a couple of things on No Clip 2 that we haven't announced yet. We're bringing out a special video project, let's call it, for patrons of a certain tier, and we have our game recommendation zine, and I've been doing some work in the background about doing a physical version of that, like a monthly physical version, which I think would be a very cool way of like having a physical magazine that isn't like based on news, or it's just like, here are the best games that came out this month, like that's it. But I've already said too much, so we'll leave it at that for the moment, but expect to hear news on that in the next week or two. Let us know what you think of that as well. Would you be interested in such a thing? I've been doing a lot of weighing paper and seeing how much it costs to send letters and how much you can stuff in a letter before it becomes a package, which apparently is actually quite a lot. You can get like 3 ounces in before it starts getting crazy, at least domestically. Anyway, Frank, go for it. My house is fucking vibrating, but it's not a...
Michael wrote in.
I don't think that was an earthquake. It was something else. Sorry, go on.
Michael wrote in about games on a cinema screen. Thanks for the podcast this week. It was great as always. I could feel my ears perk up the moment PVKK was mentioned. I'm very excited for this game, and in fact, I had the privilege of seeing it played live at the current stage of development while volunteering at Godot-Con in Amsterdam this year.
Oh, awesome.
And what was great, and also created a lot of FPS problems, is that we got to see the visual spectacle on a cinema screen. That inspired a question: what games would you like to see played on a cinema screen?
Oh, sorry, I've got the best answer for this, so you guys go ahead. Apologies in advance.
I don't know. That's a great question. I feel like I would Maybe because I just talked about the Anno games, but like a grand strategy game on like a giant screen would feel like you're in the war room in Doctor Strangelove or something.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Terraria because it's too small.
That's actually a perfect use of it.
That's good. Sorry to spoil sport. I played Crisis on what was once the biggest cinema screen in the world.
Oh shit.
We were doing a GameSpot event at the BFI IMAX in Waterloo. And we were setting up, I forget what it was, but we were doing some type of thing there. I don't think it's the biggest cinema screen in the world anymore. It was for a time. It's still the biggest cinema screen in the UK or maybe Europe. It's like where they do the IMAX premieres, for all the big movies in Europe. I think they did the premiere for the Odysseus. What's it called? What did they call that one? The new Nolan Odysseus
Odyssey?
movie? The Odyssey. I couldn't remember the Odyssey.
What's that Odysseus movie?
Odysseus movie? What's it
What's
called?
that
The
Odysseus
journey?
up to?
The walk home? The boat?
The long trip.
Exactly. And yeah, we hooked up a laptop. We figured out how to get in because we needed to show something on the screen. And then it was me and the guys from GameSpot UK, Seb and Cameron, and we were like, what's the funniest game to try and play on this? And we were like, well, Crisis runs on this laptop. So we were like, fuck it, let's do it. Unplayable. Like, you're playing a game where the gun is like 2 stories high. Like, it's just like imagine, it's like put your face up to your monitor and try and play a first person shooter. It was just awful. We were like, we're like sat at the back of the cinema. Each of us had a go. It was impossible. There was also all this like weird ghosting going on, but probably because the frame rate was not like happy with the weird digital projector thing they had. But it was really cool to do it. It was very cool to do it. And then immediately we were like, this is the worst way to play video games. This is worse than playing on like a phone. This is impossible. So
when I was in college, I had a friend who was had access to an engineering building after hours. I don't know if he was like a TA or something.
Nice.
But we'd go in there
Or
and
a
play.
thief.
Maybe he was just a thief. Maybe he had high lockpicking skill. But was it Alien Swarm? Is that what it's called? We'd play Alien Swarm in a lecture hall on the projector and sit. We would sit like really far apart in the lecture hall just because there was no one in the building, and it was funny to like have to yell to each other.
That's fantastic.
It was awesome.
Love it. One of my favorite things at Gamescom is the people with the little personal projectors just projecting stuff up on the walls. And I think it was Timur during COVID, he like blasted his like Street Fighter streams out onto the road or something so people could like watch him play Street Fighter.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I think he did something like that. I forget. Yeah, I love projectors are just the most fun. It's just like it's like forcing people to consume. You can distract people so easily. So it's just like a fun way to spread the love out there. It's like a visual version of the asshole in the train who's playing their music on their phone. You know what I mean? But it's easy. It's kind of easier to ignore, but in another way, it's impossible not to look at, which I think I quite like. One more email, do we?
Yeah, End of Media wrote in, what's your favorite console gimmick?
Jesus.
Examples would be game audio coming through the controller speaker, the handle on the GameCube, the Dreamcast memory cards, VMU, a crank, and also what gimmick or toyification would you like to see in the next generation of consoles?
They should remove Rumble.
Remove?
They should ask me if I want it. Or they should have it off. It's always
you don't like
so
being forced to rumble?
It's so strong. If I could put the thing down during a cutscene and then it just like shakes the entire desk.
Yeah, that shit is scary when you put it on your coffee table. You're just trying to relax.
They have like a
Some
glass
games are
coffee
way more.
table.
Is it? Really? You just like, it's like gonna
blast your
shatter.
table
Like,
apart.
no.
It's gonna hit the right frequency where it like just shatters the whole.
Yeah, like
a
the singing-
piezo resonance
the opera singer.
happens. Yeah.
What is that game? Saros? No, Saros. George Saros. So is it Saros? It's called the PS3 like bullet hell game with Coley in it. What's it fucking? Is that what it's called? Saros? Am I crazy?
That sounds correct.
Saros. That game. There's some fucking yeah. Saros is what it's called. Yeah, it's made by I couldn't remember the name of the studio. Housemarque. That's it. And Rel Coley's in it. There's some Sony first party games that I swear to God get access to the real rumble because they just vibrate 10 times more than any regular one does, and that game is crazy intense with it. But yeah, I can see that. What else? I mean, the VMU was brilliant, but it was just a nightmare because it forced every video game studio to make a separate game that would go on this little fucking memory card. So it's just like instantly, one or two games did a good job, and then the rest of them were all terrible.
I feel this is such a boring answer, but the Switch being handheld is like it's a great gimmick. I mean, it's like fucking, I have never played my Switch on a television.
Yeah, I don't think I have either. I think I did see what it was like and hated it, and then put it back on the screen. What else? I wanna pick something weird. I mean, the trans vibrator. I never got to wear it. The suit for Res, but I hear that's pretty good. It's probably Rock Band, the Guitar Hero.
That is a good game.
Those are those drums especially. I adore.
I got one. Anytime if you charge a weed pen off of a computer via USB, if you hit it while it's plugged into the computer, it feels like you're smoking a computer. And I feel there is untapped potential here.
That's good.
I don't know. I'm not the genius who will crack this, but someone out there will take that torch and run with it.
Speaking of torches and setting things on fire, using a candle as the sensor bar for your Wii was always a favorite of mine.
That's good. A console should come with a candle.
It should, but considering how many lawsuits there were over people not putting those wrist straps on. Remember when they had to release? Do you remember the Wii didn't come with those wrist straps? And then they had to release them. They had to give them away for free. I think it was like a European case, and then all those wrist straps. And do you remember the weird? Remember the condoms? What were they called? Do you remember those things?
On the Wii remote.
On the Wiimote, yeah. Do you remember they released those?
Yeah, they were like jelly. They were
awful. Yeah, they were like see-through plastic. Like it just looked like you were putting a condom on your fucking Wiimote. It was like, and then it had to be open on one side, and it was just like, I mean, if you got hit in the head with that, it was going to hurt too. It wasn't, you know what I mean? It wasn't like it was fucking making it. It's just weird. People are weird.
What about like a Frank Herbert Dune console, and you can only play it under the influence of an exotic drug created by the console manufacturer? The spice is necessary. You get the console and you get a bag of like golden powder.
You have to do a line.
You have to do a key bump of powder to launch the console.
The game
won't
start
reverse
when your eyes
breathalyzer.
turn blue.
There's a breathalyzer on the console. And it won't
my
fire.
god, that'd be so funny.
In my mind, the designer drug they've created for this console, it acts in such a way that the games are incomprehensible unless you were under the influence of this chemical. Yeah. And so you could fire up the console, but it would make no sense to you. You'd be like, this is just visual snow. But then your friend who has like bright blue eyes is like, nah, man, that's the intro cutscene.
Yeah, you're not seeing this? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a magic eye.
That's genius.
Yeah, it's a magic eye that you snort.
Magic eye you snort. There was something else Frank said earlier. Oh, fuck, I forgot. I should have written it down. It was a very funny phrase. But I do like the idea. I think I'm now fascinated by the reverse breathalyzer. Because you're right. Like, it's just, we have that technology, but we've never used it in the positive way. Now, obviously, there are some severe health and lifestyle problems that come with this new venture we're all equally involved in. But I definitely see there being some sort of potential there.
It has to be like a really healthy drug. You know what I'm saying?
What's the healthiest drug?
I don't know. That's a really good question.
Is it caffeine? Could be weed.
Weed is pretty innocuous. If you don't smoke cannabis, like if you eat edibles, it's probably like it's probably like tea adjacent. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The only problem is you probably eat an extra 800 calories that day.
That's true. Yeah. There are certain tangential risks.
Yes.
But it's pretty fucking benign.
Yeah, it is.
My weed console coming 2027.
Yeah, what would you call it? The
Nintendo
Weed 64.
It would just be WIID. It'd be weed. It would be one of those. It would be one of those T-shirts you get at like a pier somewhere of Mario, and he's like smoking a fire flower, and his eyes are so bloodshot. I've seen
those. Are they on Grailed right now? Probably.
Let's see.
Get a weed. If you can find a weed shirt on Grailed within reason, I will buy it for you.
All right, let's see.
As long as it doesn't cost $2,000, because I know a lot of things on Grailed do.
I'm just typing. I typed in weed with 2 eyes.
Your
here we
Mario
go.
hat is here, by the way.
Here we go. I found this is the exact one I was picturing. Thank you for keeping my Mario hat safe.
Of course, absolutely.
This is literally the. I'm posting it in our staff chat right here.
Okay.
This is
Is
the
this
exact image.
Oh my
We
god!
posted the same fucking time, and it's 2 different pictures. Of
Wait,
the
mine
same-
is on eBay. You can get it on eBay for $200.
Oh fuck! that's-
Jeremy's one looks
Washington.
better.
Mine is on Grailed.
How much?
$39.
Great.
Well, mine
Here's
it
the
says
question:
it's
Do
from
you actually want it?
it's vintage though. Is yours vintage? It's from
Oh,
the
shit.
2000s.
Hers is
Vintage.
This one says vintage too,
Okay.
but that could be a lie. Do I want it? Yeah, I mean, I would fucking wear this.
You
Yeah,
want
this is
it? Yeah.
hilarious.
No caps. Do you want one as well?
Only the $200 one. I'm taking the bootleg.
Even if it's the same shirt, it's just that it feels special.
It's got history, man. Just think about how many joints were, and how many joints and how many games of bowling happened in this. This. Sorry, we should explain the shirt. It's a Mario looking high with.
It's he looks
the Wii
so
font.
fucking fake.
Yeah, he looks real fucked up.
If I looked at my buddy on the couch and he looked like this, I'd be like, "Do you want like an apple or something?"
I'd be like, you want to play some? Want to play some tennis?
I'd be like, "You're just high enough to launch this console that only works if you're this fucking fit. You must be this
Fucking just
faded." It's
totally
like a
monged out. Turn on
it's
the
like
Wii console and it's like do 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 do.
it's really fucking pitched down.
Yeah.
That's great.
Thanks for all the emails, folks. Podcast at noclip.video. There should be some indie recs up this week. There won't be by the time you listen to this on the NoClip Patreon feed, though, over on NoClip 2. Sorry, NoClip 2 Patreon feed. Patreon.com/NoClip2 to get it early, to support our work, and maybe to get some sort of video or zine situation. So keep your eyes peeled for that, folks. Thank you for listening. Thanks to the whole crew here for their time and attention. And we will see you all next week on the podcast. Bye.